Salutations! Welcome to Pod Mortem. I'm Travis Hunter, joined as always by my co-host, my sister, and my brother-in-law.
Hi, I'm Reneé Hunter Vasquez.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
This week, we're broadcasting live from a traffic jam on Route 23, discussing the 2003 supernatural horror sequel, Final Destination 2. This film was directed by David R. Ellis from a screenplay by J. McKay Gruber and Eric Bress. Following the success of its predecessor, Final Destination 2 follows a mostly new crew along with a familiar face or two in their quest to once again outwit and cheat death. With memorable kills and an opening sequence that scarred an entire generation, this film would go on to become a box office success and pave the way for future entries in the franchise. This film was suggested to us by friends of the show and Wendigo getters Molly Gerhardt, Brittany Ramatar, and Jordan Nash. We'd like to thank all three of them for their continued support of the show, as well as this suggestion. So, Final Destination 2, what were your first impressions on the film?
I remember seeing this a little bit after it came out, but that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've watched it twice, but I do remember watching it for the show. The first time I seen it, I remember because of the kills and everything. I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. But I can't remember if I really, really liked the movie or I was just very excited because of the way people were dying.
Right.
I watched this one a lot. I know we both did.
Yeah.
I know we are going to continue with the franchise. This is the last one I have memory for and nostalgia for, because I was like, I remember one thing about this movie, and it's the thing we all remember.
Of course.
Because, you know, act like you don't change lanes when you're fucking on the... But anyway.
No, you do.
Everybody does.
Even though physically I don't think it's possible.
It doesn't matter. But when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, no, I remember this. I remember that. I remember that line. I remember this. Not all of it is great.
Fair.
But it does have nostalgia. I feel like the kills are pretty inventive. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are fun. I know I probably shouldn't say fun, but they are fun. It's when you kind of, the consequences of some actions made me kind of like, wait.
No, yeah.
I don't know. Some of it just did not gel watching it fucking almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
But when I was a teenager, this movie was fucking amazing.
Shit,
yeah.
No, I definitely agree on the nostalgia factor. Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe it might also be bleeding over from the first one into this one. That kind of allows me to kind of feel like a kid again when I watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this one isn't as good as the first one.
It's to me, it's not. Yeah, I would agree with that.
See, I remember this one more than I do the first one.
Uh-huh.
So this one, I want to say it was a little better for me than the first one.
Well, I mean, if it stuck to you.
Right, but only because I remember this one more.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of nostalgia, maybe?
Yeah, tiny.
Just small.
Tiny. Very
I will call it a worthy successor, though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it kind of carried the tone better. I think the series got a little more ridiculous towards the end, for me.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have...
I don't remember. I know I watched past this. I do not remember.
Well, then I think that explains.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen anything past this one.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've seen the first one, this one, and that was it.
Well, then it's going to be interesting when we get to...
Yeah, I'm excited, honestly.
I definitely felt scarred by a lot of things in this film.
Uh-huh.
More than just the one that everybody talks about and remembers.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing that makes this film work is they really take a lot of mundane situations and make them fearful.
I definitely agree with that. I have that in my notes that the first one and then after the beginning of this one, you're already trained. Every time a character walks into a room, you're like, oh, that could fucking kill him. That could kill him. That could kill him.
Yeah.
You better watch out for that.
Yeah.
Like everything, you're keyed up and just anxious.
I remember leaving the theater because we saw this in the theater and every little thing I was like, well, that is...
You're like, I'm not going over to those pigeons. That's for sure.
Goddamn sure. Sidebar, I do know that I said that it kind of carries on the tone and everything very well.
Yeah.
But I do have to admit that some of the story, especially considering one character from the first film and not the one that we see, I really think that they dropped the ball very badly.
I would say that they dropped the brick.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the audacity.
Yeah.
And I know that there is behind the scenes stuff that was responsible for that, but I read a couple different things. I don't fully know what happened.
That was
I don't know
my
if
problem.
you do.
I couldn't substantiate it. I was like, do I tweet at Devin Zawa?
Yeah. Please tell us what
We need to know. Now, before we cheat this film's design, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Pod Mortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, let's hit the road. Now, this film relies heavily on having already seen Final Destination. If you haven't, we suggest you go watch it, or go listen to episode 27 of our show as a refresher. So the film begins with grainy television footage of an uncredited anchorman declaring that tomorrow marks the 1-year anniversary of the crash of Flight 180, the tragedy that sparked the events of the first film. He recounts the 40 students and 4 faculty members of Mount Abraham High School who lost their lives, but also details the strange, seemingly accidental deaths that befell the survivors who got off the plane before it crashed. We get a shot of what appears to be a bedroom, but it looks a lot like Mr. Mullen's creepy-ass barn from last week. But we also get the title, Final Destination 2. The camera pans across a photo of 2 girls, catching a magnifying glass just right to make it appear as though an X-Acto knife blade is pointed at the face of one of the girls. So this I actually dig.
Yeah.
Because it's very close to what they did in the first film.
The opening.
Right.
Yeah. I do think that it's not as cool because it seems to be just more random creepy shit.
Yeah.
And less kind of death oriented. Like I remember a thing hanging by its neck and shit. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But this one, they're like, look at that puppet. Like, that's not it.
Okay.
But that little hint at death is perfectly timed, as the anchorman says that some people saw those deaths as tragic coincidences, while others thought something more sinister could be afoot. As he welcomes his guests to discuss those events, a clearly haunted puppet twists in the wind, and we see the hand of a sleeping girl twitch. The guest reiterates that he doesn't think the events are supernatural. The camera then pans to a chunky little spider near the girl's hand. It's a thick boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chunky little makes it sound cute and baby-like. This movie is already too scary for me. I'm like, first I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
I did too, and then it started moving very
I was like, this is just in your fucking house all plump and shit. No.
It's
Maybe
eaten
as a
well.
pet.
Why is it loose? I'm sorry.
Get back to your cage.
I'm really trying to vibe with this girl because obviously this is going to be our protagonist.
Right.
But you got fucking weird ass puppets and just a spider roaming free. I can't relate.
No, not at all. And honestly, I don't really know, again, what the spider has to do with
Nothing.
death.
Because I was like, oh, she's probably going to get bit. Is this another Spider-Man movie?
Oh, yeah.
No, none of that. We never see the spider again.
No, it was not a bait and switch at all. But it crawls across her bed as the guest posits that there's a force around us all day, every day that determines when we die. We see a tour book for Daytona Beach and a road trip journal next to another obviously haunted doll. I really don't know what this girl's into, but
Yeah.
I feel like maybe if there was any mention in the next hour and a half about her maybe even liking
that would be cool. It's like, I have this show called The Manger Babies. Just one line of dialogue.
Fucking manger.
Well, with these, it would be like the manger demons or something. These things are fucked
Gotta
up.
change it up a little bit.
Yes, don't want to get sued. But the guest says that he doesn't go in for the religious connotations of that force either, so he just prefers to call it death.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. He says death has a grand design, and when Alex Browning got off the plane and got others to go along with him, he ruined death's plan, and that's what he's here to warn people about.
At this point, I'm like, how did this theory get out?
Yeah, I
Because
have no idea.
This is exactly what they figured out on their own in the first movie.
Well-
and this dude's like, listen to this.
They-
It's
Yes.
like, how do you know this?
They needed a way to tell anyone watching this movie
What
that
happened?
Exactly, yes.
didn't see the first one.
It's called exposition.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the thing that got me is he's like, now I don't go in for that supernatural
Yeah.
shit, but death has a design.
But what are you talking about?
Like, what even is this? But we pan from a shiny airplane toy on a nightstand to the sleeping face of Kimberly Corman, played by A.J. Cook. So I was wondering if they were doing the same thing they did with the first film, if Corman is Roger Corman,
Yeah.
because there's another family later that's very obvious.
Yes.
But I like these little shout outs to horror icons.
Yeah, very cool.
But when asked by the anchorman if it's because all the survivors are dead, the guest says that it's not that they're dead, it's how they died. As the little thick boy spider crawls towards Kimberly's back, the guest says that their deaths were so random and elaborate that it's proof that there's something out there. The anchorman immediately checks his ass, telling him that it's not proof. This is just your interpretation.
I was like, why did you have him on?
Why'd you invite me?
Because it's like, this dude's going to explain
that.
everything. Oh, now you've gone too far.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's like, I'm just going to be a dick to this guy for about 15 minutes or so. But wind blows past Kimberly, waking her up as the discussion on television devolves into an argument.
The wind is never good.
No, it's not. We learned that from...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she sits up to watch the TV. The guest, cutting through the anchorman's sarcasm, says that we should be on guard every day we leave the house.
This is great content to wake up to.
Oh, yeah.
And also, you can die in your house, too.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people do it. I don't know if you've heard.
It happened in the first film.
Oh, shit. I think probably the most memorable one.
Yeah, for me anyway.
Yeah.
But a door slams shut behind Kimberly, but she just doesn't care. Like, she pays it no mind, and I found this very confusing.
Yeah. There's a lot of character work in this film that I find very confusing.
But to survive, the guest says we must look beneath the visible world because in the end, no one escapes death, and today may be your day to die. Again, he doesn't go in for the supernatural. But the TV gives way to red static. According to the commentary, they did say that they wanted to front load it with exposition to kind of give you the...
Yeah.
Well, they did.
Yes, they did. They said something weird, though. They said the test audiences were like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Get to the deaths. And I was like, dude.
Well,
That's surprising that already in the second installment.
Yeah.
I can get maybe in like the third or fourth. It's like, look, we're just here to see
no.
people get killed in crazy ways. Like, that's rough. I would be offended.
What? Come on. What kind of fucking story? You get death? Where? You can't see them, but...
That's why it's so scary.
That's why it's so real.
I don't go in for that supernatural kind.
But in a bit of a transition, we pull up from a door of a red car to find Kimberly getting everything loaded up. Mr. Corman, her dad, played by Andrew Airley, goes down a checklist of items, making sure that she has everything for the trip. Shayna, Kimberly's friend, played by Sarah Carter, finishes up his list with condoms, whips, and chains as she tosses her bag into the back of Kimberly's car.
No, you go home. You get inside. Fuck.
Trips off.
Yeah. No.
Mr. Corman was not impressed.
Well, it's funny because he's like naming off that checklist of, do you have this? Do you have this? And she's like, yes, Dad. Like, it's just that trope is funny to me where a parent is concerned and like making sure you're going to be safe. And the kid's just like, Dad, fuck off. It's just
didn't
funny.
they do that in the first film too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and if I know anything about trips, like, why don't parents check the night before? Nobody ever does.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I got to go right now. Well, listen,
Well,
did
look,
you bring?
yeah, I have a laundry list of
Do you
shit
have
you need
water?
to bring. But Shayna does say that she's just joking and that she'll keep an eye on Kimberly, which doesn't fill Mr. Corman with any confidence.
Hell no.
It's like, weren't you the one that just talking about? But as Kimberly says goodbye to her dad, Shayna tells her to hurry up and get the guys because she is horny. I'm like, you need to...
And
the dad's about to come out at you.
Yeah. Look, I'm glad that she's very free.
yeah.
But at least say it with him
Not
nodding.
Yeah.
in front of my
Let
dad.
me get the fuck out of here.
Yes,
Don't- yeah.
Jesus. But Mr. Corman just laughs it off, and Kimberly says that she'll call him before hopping into the driver's seat of the car. She jokingly scolds Shayna, who blows it off, saying that her dad's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thrilled with what's going on. I know I'm old too because as they were pulling off, I was like, put your seatbelt on, man.
Yeah.
And then the dad's like, buckle up. I was like, God damn it.
This is who you're relating
I'm
to.
in full circle.
I'm just laughing because the first time you saw it, you're like, yeah, fuck you.
Fuck you, Dad.
But this time you're like, those girls are just
So we're going to pick up the boys,
it's unbelievable. But as they speed off to the sound of aggressively early 2000s rock, Mr. Corman tells them to buckle up like you just said. But before heading inside, he notices a red stain left behind by the car in the driveway. Not good.
No, Kimberly, your car's bleeding.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that?
Someone stabbed your car last night. I was like, I hope that he calls her immediately.
Right.
And then I was thinking, I was like, okay, so 2003, what were cell phones like?
Terrible.
Okay.
But they were there.
Nokias, yeah. Yeah,
I played
But they
Snake,
existed.
remember? On mom and dad's phone because we didn't have phones yet, I don't think.
No.
But you do forget how much shit has changed in that short period of time.
Yeah.
Because on commentary, at this point, they were explaining what Rotten Tomatoes is.
Wow.
Yeah, and it sounded insane because they have this thing called the tomato meter. I was like, dude, if you said this to people who aren't in the know, that is ridiculous. But we cut to the on-ramp of Route 23, swirling around a sign for the stop line. Kimberly abruptly slams on the brakes as to not hit the car in front of her, and everyone in the car chastises her driving skills. The two guys that Shayna was jokingly horny for, Frankie, played by Sean Cypus, and Dano, played by Alejandro Rey, sit in the back seat.
So are you sure that these are the guys she was horny for? Or did they pick them up and now they're going to pick up the horny guys?
That's why I said jokingly horny.
Okay. Because I was like, oh, God. Not
Man.
even physically how they look, but the way they fucking act.
Oh, they're horrible.
Oh, my God.
Like, goddamn, the bar was low in 2003.
You just need a puka shell necklace. And
you're
that's
in.
it. That's it.
I don't mean I meant you're in like...
No, you meant getting it in.
I
We
didn't
know
get
what you
it
meant.
in. I would never.
We all knew what you
I
meant.
would never say that.
That's what he meant.
Stricken from the record. But on-ramp lady, played by Retta Hutton, knocks on Kimberly's window and rattles a bag of collected soda cans. Unfortunately, the bag tears open and all the cans fall out. As she goes to recollect them, Dano and Frankie make cracks about her.
She drops the cans. This one was like, okay, I know that something bad's about to happen to the kids in this car, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, she drops the cans, and one of them goes, "What a fucking freak!"
Yeah, I was like,
I was like, what?
That's
Why?
too far. She literally just knocked on a window.
That was my... I was like,
it.
what?
What the hell is going
And
on?
it's like she didn't growl or snarl
She
at
did
anyone.
nothing.
Not at all.
She did literally
she did nothing, and they're all laughing at her. I was like, "Fuck all of them."
And
to be
okay,
honest,
so Frankie jokes that it's Dano's mom. And Shayna, like, puts her hand on her head like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
These guys should be on Mad TV. It's like, what? It is not, nothing is not Mad TV. Well, it's 2003. I'm trying to keep with you.
mad.
But for the joke about his mother, Dano bans Frankie from smoking his weed for the entire trip. This is short-lived.
Well, I'm like, what? Is this legally binding?
I
It's
don't
just
know.
like,
Yeah,
that's it,
no.
man.
And I don't know why, but Dano really makes it like he has the best weed.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying to me personally.
I just by looking at that guy, he didn't
does
have
not-
Yeah, no. I've met that guy. I promise
like,
you.
no,
He
yeah.
doesn't have that.
I promise.
Shit. But Kimberly pulls onto the highway as Frankie and Dano chat about all the hot girls they're going to see in Daytona. They pass a school bus full of football players chanting, "Pile up, pile up." Now, I love this because it's starting a double meaning.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think a pile up has to do with football.
I don't like shit like this.
Right.
No.
Like I've seen Death Proof 1,000 times, and if I'm driving in my car and Hold Tight comes on my playlist,
You pull over?
I'm like, you're playing with fire, bitch. Like we're setting a scene here. You know what I mean? People chanting "pile up" while I'm driving on a fucking highway.
It's like,
I'd be
I-
like,
like,
I want to
no,
speak to
no,
your
no.
superintendent.
not even the coach?
No.
Who was probably on the bus?
Who's probably chanting?
Oh, shit.
He led the chant. I don't know.
I was like, did we get any? There are no shots on the bus. Did you see a deleted scene?
And two, he's waving that bag of weed around. I'm like, dude, what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Like right
Like,
on
yeah, he's
the
like,
open window?
I don't, but because it's the best, and he needs everyone to know.
I am Dano.
I got the best.
Not even
weed.
that, dude. There's cops. Everybody can
Yeah.
see you. What the fuck are
It's
you doing?
broad daylight.
Yeah,
And if there's one thing I know about the road, cops enjoy being on
Right.
there.
yeah.
But we get a shot of Kimberly looking uneasy for probably twice as long as what was necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're like, guys, she
She doesn't like that.
Yeah.
But she turns on the radio, and a man on the station says that there will be a candlelight vigil in the Mount Abraham High School auditorium tonight in memoriam of those lost in the crash of Flight 180. She then switches the station again, and we hear Highway to Hell by AC/DC. She awkwardly chuckles at Shayna and switches to some random pop rock instead.
I switched the radio when AC/DC comes on.
Yeah. Like, that has nothing to do with death.
It could have been any song.
Yeah, we're fine. But the vehicle passes a black muscle car with a phoenix painted on the hood. Evan Lewis, the driver of the car, played by David Paetko, looks over at them with a smile and revs his engine. Everybody in the car laughs at him.
I'm like, are you trying to race this SUV?
Yeah.
I was
It's
confused.
like, our mileage is shit. I can't.
Yeah.
You know what gas prices are right now?
But this is when Kimberly's cell phone begins to ring, and we see that it's her father. This made me laugh because I was like, man, they've been on the road for probably like half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, should I fucking...
I thought that was weird because of how concerned he was about her getting on the road.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have either yelled after her or immediately called me. He's like, no, I'll let him get on the highway.
That'll be fine. But she answers it, and he tells her that the car is leaking transmission fluid, and he wants her to get it checked ASAP. She says she will. Dano takes a puff of a joint and notices a biker, played by Dawn Bell, and biker's girlfriend, played by Odessa Monroe, pull up beside them. Now, I just saw this lady, Odessa Monroe, in Freddy vs. Jason, and she has a very similar character arc.
A very complicated one.
Oh, yeah, they pulled out all the stops. But she immediately flashes Dano, who begins coughing in an attempt to get Frankie to turn around and see. Mr. Corman is like, is someone coughing? As if people can't just cough.
Yeah,
No, he's like, that was a weed
He's like,
cough.
that's weed related. It's like, I grew up in the fucking 60s. I know what that is. But Kimberly rushes off the phone as Dano passes the weed to Frankie.
I feel like, why are you hanging out with people who don't know how to be cool when your parents are around?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because she's like, we're going to go fuck or whatever.
Yeah.
And then dudes smoke it. It's like, shut up and just
Yeah.
sound like everything is cool for 30 seconds while I'm on the phone with my dad.
And while you're in front of my father.
Yeah.
It's like insane. Her friends do not pass the vibe check,
No.
is
No,
what I'm
they do
trying
not.
to say.
Speaking of passing, there's some bad editing here because Dano passes Frankie the weed twice.
Yeah.
I was like, did you already fucking... Am I
Very
going-
weird. Yeah.
Frankie's like, pass it back because that shit is the best.
Like, it is true what they say. Dano has the best weed. But the biker flips them off and speeds away, Dano lamenting that Frankie did not get to see boobs. But this is when they notice a cop car behind them, which isn't good if you're smoking pot or really ever.
Yeah.
Right? Literally never.
So Kimberly tries to switch to another lane. Unfortunately, a logging truck in the next lane honks at them, so she lets it pass and ends up right behind it, telling Dano to put out the weed.
She should have gotten pulled over for
No,
that.
yeah, for
Oh,
that. Yeah.
Because
like-
the logging truck's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the cop should have been like, "Beep."
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, no,
She's
right
just
away.
like, oh, whoops.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
she just goes back and nothing.
It's like, how many drinks have you had
Yeah.
today, ma'am? But instead of putting it out, Dano takes one more drag before flicking it out in a nearby car driven by Kat Jennings, played by Keegan Connor Tracy. Now, I love Keegan Connor Tracy. She was great on Bates Motel. I think she's hilarious in this.
She is funny in this.
Honestly, and I do want to point that out as well, there is way more humor in this film
Yeah.
than the first film. Some of it's successful.
There's one, yeah, some of it. There's one character in this that I think has one moment of, maybe he's a real person.
Uh-huh.
The rest is just like, like this is fucking, it's absurd.
Yeah.
It is. He came to set, they're like, here's all the like fucking punchlines we wrote for you. Try to pepper them. No, you know what? Salt them in. We want them everywhere.
Completely, yeah.
But Kat is on her phone, distracted, but she does take notice when the joint sets some dry leaves covering her windshield wipers on fire.
Come on, man. You're on the fucking highway. That thing would have blew off with those fucking leaves.
Yeah, no, it starts a small fire.
JP, I'm sure they did all their research for Final
It
Destination
was just,
2.
it's really, I was like, come on. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, she's very smart,
Right.
sprays some windshield wiper fluid,
Right.
and the wipers batted away. She looks over at Dano, who gives her the universal shush sign.
Yeah.
And she handles it very well.
She does. I would have fucking freaked out. I would have like dove out like I was on GTA and my car was on fire.
And just let it explode in the intersection. That's how you play the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I love how you're able to just walk away and nobody's like, did that guy just bail out of that?
It's like, what the fuck?
Nobody cares.
They just keep walking down the street, go to Cluck and Bell. It's fine. It's just another day.
But Kat takes a drag from her cigarette. Smoking is very important to her character in this film.
Yes.
And this is when we cut back to the car of our protagonist, and we see that the check engine light has come on. So Kimberly says that they should pull over and check it. But Shayna isn't about that life, saying that everyone is going to be fine.
Her friends are so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I was looking as you were talking, and I have that written back to back. I'm only saying it once, but they're very fucking stupid. Her thing is like, girl, live in the moment. Like, stop worrying. Like, that's how she says it. But it's like, okay, I'm literally leaking fluid and a light just came on. I get, like, don't be such a worrywart, but we're driving in this car.
Yeah, but there's worrywart and there's the fucking car.
I don't want to crash.
I don't know if you know what transmission fluid does.
It's kind of important.
Kind of need that, yeah.
We will not get to Daytona.
Yeah, no.
But we see a van driven by Isabella Hudson, played by Justina Machado, who rubs her pregnant belly and just continues down the road. The loud logging truck speeds through the wet road, whipping water off of its wheels. We then see a guy on a motorcycle just ripping through traffic like a madman, making me very uneasy.
Yeah, I was like, is that death?
He's like, hold on.
I'm coming.
I'm right there. But next to Kimberly and co., a man driving a beer truck is just openly downing a bottle of beer as he drives on, his truck reminding everyone to drink responsibly.
Yeah, well.
I mean...
Thanks, guy.
Well, did he pick that from the bag? You don't get high in your own supply.
No, he brought it from home.
Well, Dan was also... He's like, oh, this isn't even the beer that I... But Kimberly then buckles in, and that's when I was like, you weren't?
Yeah.
It's like, your dad literally told you.
Yeah. Well, you're also not stopping the car, so
right.
Shows how much his fucking influence is. But she looks over at a car to see a little boy bashing toy cars together while staring her dead in the face.
Like,
yeah, I was like, fuck you looking at?
Yeah, I know.
Can you stop?
This is a great omen, I would say.
It's like, you see this shit? It's like, oh my God.
He like even has the tilt. Like, it's an evil. Yeah. I think that was Damien. But they pull up behind a car that belches black smoke from the exhaust pipe driven by Rory, played by Jonathan Cherry. Frankie yells out the window, "You ever hear of the ozone layer, asshole?"
As he flicks another joint out the window.
Yeah.
I can't fucking stand these kids, man.
No, not at all.
I mean, he's not... I agree with what he's saying, but I'm still like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But I thought it was weird of him to kind of like shit talk that homeless woman and then be like, but the environment. It's like, what?
Piece of shit.
But they then pass a car driven by Nora Carpenter, played by Linda Boyd, with her son Tim, played by James Kirk, in the passenger seat, drumming away with water bottles. That's when I was like, Carpenter, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
But we then see Thomas Burke, the police officer played by Michael Landis, who just has a cup of coffee freeballing it in the cup holder.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sure that full-ass, lidless cup of hot coffee is not going to cause any problems.
Oh, it won't come
all.
up at all, no.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting. I heard on commentary that he was cast in this film 4 days out from shooting.
Oh, wow.
So did somebody drop out?
I don't know. They said that he was cast late and then he showed up on set without ever having read the script because...
Wonderful.
Like...
What, did they just realize at the we did not fill this guy's position?
Shit.
We don't have a cop.
Yeah.
What an oversight.
Yeah.
But he speeds past Rory, who is just openly snorting cocaine off of his hand.
Yeah, but he kind of straightens up. He's like, oh, shit.
Well, I think that was the jolt of the cocaine.
Yeah.
If you like watching this man snort cocaine, well, you're really going to love
Hey,
it.
at least he kind of, them kids are waving the bag of weed around and throwing joints out windows. At least he was like, oh, shit.
He had the decency to turn his head.
Yeah.
And he had a good method. He put it in like the little
web.
Crevice of
creature
your
from the
hand,
Black Lagoon
Web.
part of our hand. And he snorted it like he was wiping his nose.
I don't see how it was the window down. Because I don't know how he was doing that if the window was down. Did it look like it was down? Or
I don't know, like it blows away.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
It's like, why does this keep happening?
The funny thing is that the song on the radio is literally talking about doing cocaine as he's...
He likes submersion.
Yeah.
But he then mocks Burke, even though Burke's probably like a mile down the road at this point.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is your character.
Well, yeah,
Weird.
that's the time to mock him. 'Cause
Exactly.
He can't possibly.
No, he fucking flips a Yui. What the fuck did you just? But just then, Chekhov's coffee cup topples over, spilling and burning Burke's leg. He looks around for something to clean it up with, but doesn't realize that just ahead of him, a chain has snapped on the logging truck, sending logs rolling in slow motion, bouncing into the street. Burke gasps as a log shatters through the windshield at him, crashing through the back window in a grisly, bloody mist.
When I tell you, fucking traumatizing.
Yes.
That's at least an entire generation
Oh, absolutely.
who I feel like, I know they say truckers are lonely, but I don't think anybody's as lonely as the log truck.
It's like, I'm not going to hurt you, I promise.
Why will nobody drive near me?
And the funny thing to me is that they said that they had tried it with real logs and they just fell into the road.
Well, yeah.
Like, because gravity, you know?
These are from rubber trees.
These are Acme logs.
They do bounce and go flying.
Yeah, they do. The cool thing is, obviously, the logs, when you see them bouncing, are digital.
Right.
But they smashed a real log through a car.
Oh, wow.
Shit.
And they smashed it through a dummy, but they pasted Burke's face over the dummy. And it
All right.
looks
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't even notice
No.
His look of shock is a little funny.
that. Well, you wouldn't be fucking shocked.
No, he's like, this is going to scar a whole generation. But the motorcyclist falls off his bike, sliding across the road and hitting a log before being crushed by his own speeding bike. We see blood spray.
Yeah.
So he's dead. Rory, no problem. It's called
For
Final
keeping us up
Destination.
to speed.
But Rory's car smashes into another log, flipping countless times until his car lands on its wheels like a cat. He screams immediately as an 18-wheeler slams into his car, exploding into a ball of fire. The truck keeps going as if it didn't just murder a man, and we see Kat scream as she slams right into a log, flipping her SUV on top of it. The glass shatters at her in slow motion. It's not a very convincing death as compared to the others.
No,
Yeah.
because the other ones are so gruesome.
Yeah.
They are, and the look on her face is like, "Ooh, my insurance!" Like she's not thinking about herself. But the Carpenters, on the other hand, speed right into another log when Tim's water bottle falls underneath the brake pedal, and Nora can't stop the car.
This is something that I had wanted to bring up because when we did the most recent Talk Mortem on, our Patreon, our friend Dylan had asked what are scenes for movies that scarred you but you can't remember when you were a kid, what they were. This is one for me, and I didn't even realize it until we watched this.
Oh.
Because I am very fucking paranoid about bottles in cars because of this, and I didn't even realize it was from this movie.
That makes perfect sense.
But yeah, no. I'm like, she was trying to break and she couldn't. It scares the shit out of me.
I was
Like, no.
always worried about grapefruits because of that episode of The Simpsons.
Equally as
Yes.
dangerous.
I believe it's called Das Bus. If you're feeling froggy.
If I remember, it scarred a whole generation.
It did. I don't eat fruit in the car. But the Carpenter's car promptly explodes, and it's at this point that I was like, is everyone made of dynamite in this movie or what?
They all had gunpowder for breakfast.
But the logging truck, now completely empty, swerves to a stop, blocking the road. Kimberly clips a log, sending her vehicle flipping over several times in slow motion.
I wanted to mention here because, in movies, you always see cars flipping and stuff. And this one, you see their arms and legs hanging out of the windows.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about that was like very disturbing.
Yeah.
Because it was just a little extra touch that you don't, because I've talked about this before. Sometimes when like a lot of action is going on, my eyes will just glaze over. And so that was like, oh shit, like there's fucking people in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was disturbing.
I usually feel like they often will put like, you just have the stunt driver in a car or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seeing that blonde hair peek out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
oh
fuck.
my God, it was a lot.
Shayna's fucking dead. But Evan slams his muscle car straight into the gas tank of the logging truck, exploding into the third ball of fire we've seen so far. But metal debris and flames litter the road as we press in on Kimberly and her friends, bloody and trapped in their flipped over vehicle. They watch as Evan screams for help as he can't unbuckle his seatbelt, entirely engulfed in flames. That seemingly evil 18-wheeler returns, speeding through the flames and ripping through Evan and his vehicle, heading straight for Kimberly and her friends.
Why are they still driving?
I don't know.
I was just so confused.
Maybe they have a grapefruit under their...
I'm like, the Carpenters are the only ones with
An excuse.
an excuse.
Yeah.
Everybody else, why the fuck are you still driving?
I don't know. It feels like maximum overdrive or something.
I
Like,
guess.
I don't know what's going on. But Kimberly screams as it approaches, but then the camera pulls back and out of Kimberly's eye, which is really the only way to get across that somebody had a premonition on
Right.
film, apparently.
This happened in there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
That was brain shit. But I gotta say, man, that is a great fucking sequence.
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Every bit of it was envisioned by the director because apparently all the script said was the carnage is immeasurable.
Oh.
I mean, that is correct.
It is accurate.
You love to see him die.
Yeah. I mean, they were. I mean, well, hold on.
Yeah. That was a bold statement back there.
I'm just like, They were creative kills for the most part, except for Kat, who just.
That's
Yeah,
what
she
I
just
meant.
flipped
She's
over
like,
a
my
little bit.
premiums are gonna go up.
I'll never financially recover from this.
Oh, no.
Most of them were really like scary. I don't think that it had the same impact on me as the plane in the first one, because that one I literally kind of felt sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
But this one was like, fuck. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's horrific and it's gruesome and it's like all turned up because it's a horror film, but
Right.
like this shit could happen.
No, yeah.
Maybe not the logs are gonna be bouncing or whatever, but this shit could happen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it does happen. That's terrifying.
I think maybe why it didn't hit so hard for you is like at the end of this sequence, Kimberly just kind of screams at the impending doom.
Yeah.
But at the end of the first sequence, Alex is being whipped by flames and he's like, like, so I would imagine that's a little more,
Maybe
a little more dramatic.
makes it more impactful.
I would say so. But I did hear on commentary that it took 11 days to shoot this sequence.
Wow.
It's an incredible mix of both practical and digital effects as well as stunt work.
It's
Oh.
pretty seamless.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every car that you saw flip, there was a stunt driver in there.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Which is like I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
It does.
They said that the director, David Ellis, was actually a stunt coordinator since the 1970s.
Oh, shit.
And so him coordinating all this shit actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually did stunt work for Scarface,
Oh shit.
Okay.
and he was the stunt coordinator for Lethal Weapon and Misery.
All
Hell
right.
Thought that was great.
I mean, they were whooping ass in Misery.
Yeah, they are, dude. Well, the typewriter wasn't as good. But he actually helped orchestrate both the Quidditch matches in Harry Potter
Hey.
and the freeway scene in The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, shit.
Hey, all
So
right.
dude's fucking...
Yeah.
He's like, I know what I'm doing here. But after we zoom out of Kimberly's eye, her friends are once again chastising her for braking abruptly at the stop line. The on-ramp lady bangs on the window again, her bag breaking and spilling the cans.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. They're like, fucking freak!
Yeah. I'm like, nope. No.
Everything plays out as it did before, but Kimberly begins breathing heavily, observing her surroundings. There's a line of honking cars behind her, and she sees the school bus filled with football players chanting, pile up, pile
Plug it
up.
up. Plug it
Yeah,
up.
that's all. I don't know why. I don't even know if they did it in that cadence, but that's what's in my head. But the interesting thing is from this side, we see that the school bus is from Mount Abraham High School.
Does that sound familiar?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
She then tells her friends that there's going to be a huge accident and they're all going to die. The guys brush it off as a joke, like, you know, from their time on Mad TV. But Shayna actually seems a little concerned. Kimberly cycles through the radio. The same memorial announcement from earlier comes on, so she switches over, saying that Highway to Hell is going to play. And it does. The light then turns green, but instead of continuing on, Kimberly swerves her car to block the on-ramp. Dano and Frankie are very confused. Burke, who is sitting in his vehicle, notices what's going on and pulls his police car up to Kimberly's vehicle. We also see Rory very openly stash his coke that Burke would have never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have never saw it, but he's like, I've got coke in here.
Yeah, I was like, that's not suspicious
no,
at all.
I must hide this. But Burke gets out of the car and walks over to chat with Kimberly. Dano practically is hyperventilating over how much weed that he has on him.
He's like, and it's the best.
Yeah. Did you hear?
You get extra time when your shit's really good.
You may have forgotten when you were fucking having a premonition, but I have the best weed.
The best.
Burke asks what's going on, and Kimberly tells him about what she saw. The pileup, the bodies, the logs, everything. Burke asks her to step out of the vehicle.
He's like, bitch, what are you on?
I mean, she's doing the right thing by blocking the road.
She is.
But,
She's trying
she
to
does
save
sound
everyone.
a little crazy.
Oh, very much. But I guess Alex Browning also sounded crazy.
He did.
Yeah.
But she gets out of the vehicle, and we watch as every named character from earlier watches impatiently. Eventually, Isabella and Evan step out of their vehicles, and we watch as the motorcycle man switches off and takes off his helmet, revealing himself as Eugene Dix, played by T.C. Carson.
We love to see it.
Yes.
Living
Yeah.
single.
I laugh how I said revealing himself as...
Oh, shit.
That's Eugene Dix!
Before Evan gets out of his car, he's like, Burke is up there talking with Kimberly and he's just honking.
Yeah.
I'm like, has this worked yet? Why are you still just sitting there honking?
I gotta be honest, the horn of a vehicle is just there to annoy the fuck out of everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely is it ever used for what it's meant to be used for.
A warning or like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
back here or something. Yeah.
If we're in traffic for like bumper to bumper, you're not doing anything but being an asshole.
Yeah.
That's just a PSA. Like, fucking stop.
Stop doing that.
Very interestingly, on commentary, they said that the character of Eugene Dix in the screenplay was described as a Woody Allen type.
So the casting is spot on.
Right, nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, they went a different way with it.
Very much so.
But Isabella walks up to Burke asking if there's any way that they could just go around, but he tells them to get back into their vehicles. Evan has a less polite approach and he goes, just move.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
I never thought of that.
No, I thought I would just stay here. But the music grows dramatic as Kimberly sees the logging truck speeding past them. She says that's the truck that's going to kill everyone and tells Burke to stop the truck. I did want to call it the music because I learned something very interesting. The woman who scored this film is named Shirley Walker, and she scored the first 3 Final Destination films, but she is also one of the first women ever to earn a solo scoring credit for a feature film, and she earned it on, I think it's Memoirs of an Invisible Man for John Carpenter.
Oh, wow.
But keep in mind, I said one of the first women ever
Yeah.
in 1992.
Jesus.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
What a badass.
Oh,
A.
yeah.
B. Come, like, what took so fucking long?
I have
This is
no idea.
crazy.
I have no idea. But Burke tells Kimberly that she needs to calm down, and before she even has a chance to, we hear loud crashing sounds and see large explosions as the pileup from her premonition becomes reality.
Now, this is the first bone that I had to pick.
Huh.
That happened a lot further
yeah.
up the road than
Yeah,
that.
it did. Not
Yeah.
from
No.
eyesight.
No, they stopped at the thing. The lady was with the cans. They were driving. They were smoking. Her
Yeah.
dad called. They saw Cat.
Even the
they
stuff
saw
on
the
the
kids.
radio.
They saw the bus.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
shit on the. All of that had to happen. But it's like, no, we're gonna do it right here so you can see it. I'm like,
Well, I
come
wanted
on.
to see it. But Burke rushes off to call it in, requesting medical assistance and backup. Kimberly then notices a road sign that reads, next 180 feet. We zoom in on 180.
The Zoom made me laugh.
Yeah. It's like, why does Death love that number so much, dude?
They're like the flight.
Yeah, remember, guys? Like,
It was so unnecessary.
it really
killed
was.
me.
Well, we could see it before.
Yeah.
But Kimberly looks on as we see Burke behind her, running over to her in slow motion. He pulls her out of the way just in time as a speeding 18-wheeler crashes into her vehicle, killing Shayna, Dano, and Frankie as they explode into another ball of fire.
That wasn't even part of the crash, though.
No.
Like, why did that happen?
Well, we'll learn. But Burke holds her as the camera swirls around them, Kimberly screaming and crying. Positive and then negative.
Yeah.
The positive is that this is a great composite shot because you have the shot of, I guess, a green screen background of him rescuing her and throwing her to the ground, and then everything else that goes on, the special effects that they did, it all really marries very well.
It
Oh,
does.
no, yeah, it looks good.
And in 2003, I'm just
Yeah,
No,
that's
yeah.
impressive.
very surprised. But on the negative side, on commentary, they said that this is supposed to evoke a feeling of what they did to Marion Crane in Psycho, that anything can happen. I was like, don't
No.
let's no pun intended, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
This is not Hitchcock.
Yeah.
No,
Let's be very clear.
you've clearly got a grapefruit under your brakes. Because slow down. But I mean, we can admit that that's very cool.
That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
But let's not go too far. But at the police station, Burke walks with Detective Subi, played by Eric Keenlyside, telling him that the survivors are shaken up and a bit scared after what happened. It's like, well, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
duh. It's like, yeah, they're lucky, but that's still fucking traumatizing.
Oh, yeah.
I would say so. And that's when Detective Subi is like scared. They're the luckiest sons of bitches on the planet.
Shut up.
I'm like, you were sitting in an air-conditioned office.
Yeah.
You're the luckiest son of a bitch on the planet. You didn't have to see any of that shit. But he does say that yesterday, Evan Lewis won the lottery, and now today he avoids one of the worst pileups in years. So Evan's lucky.
Yeah.
Evan is lucky.
No, yeah.
Are we supposed to assume that the car is from his lottery money? Because that's what I assumed.
Yeah, I would think so.
Maybe.
So
yeah.
he won yesterday.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll take one.
Yeah. I'll take one of those.
Yes, please. But Subi tells Burke to go babysit the rest of him so he can finish talking to Evan. Burke heads into the waiting room where he's accosted by Kat and Eugene, who are asking when they can get out of here.
I had a question here. I understand Kimberly because it's like, oh, did you have prior knowledge?
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
Why are the other survivors being detained? They had nothing to do with the pileup or with it being blocked off.
Well, but they're named actors, though.
Okay. But we got to get them in a room together.
Exactly, yeah. So we can have this scene.
I just took it
no
that she
sense.
was like, look, they all died in my vision. So,
And he's like,
Yeah,
she
but-
died, she
yeah,
died.
that one,
he
that
died.
one, that one. It's like that guy back there on the bike.
Yeah. Pile him in the back of your
Yeah.
car.
They have no reason
I mean,
to be
how
there.
else?
They really
I
don't.
They're like, can we leave? It's like, yes.
Yes.
he's-
Yeah, it's like,
You're not-
you followed us. We
Yeah.
didn't tell you to come.
No, you're not under suspicion of anything. Like, I don't get it either. Burke says he's going to get them out of here as soon as possible, but then goes to check in on Kimberly. He asks her to tell him again what happened. Kimberly again describes her premonition, saying that she knew something bad was going to happen before it did. She turns to the group, saying that she knows it sounds crazy, but Flight 180 happened 1 year ago today, and her premonition was just like Alex Browning's. Burke looks moved, and Nora asks what she's talking about. In an odd bit of screenwriting, because we've already gone over this information before,
Yeah.
Eugene explains everything all over again. Kid has a dream, gets his friends off of a plane explodes. But after a while, they start to die off one by one. He says, when your number's up, right? And then Rory has like the funniest reaction ever. He like points his finger like, word. Like, it fucking kills me every time. He's like, that's the shit. Yeah, that's what's up. But Eugene says that some people believe that death stalked those kids, hunted them down until they were all dead. He then lets out a sarcastic, evil laugh, startling Tim and Nora. He thinks it's all bullshit.
I understand that he thinks it's all bullshit. And I gotta say, although I don't agree with anything he's saying, dude has some presence. Like,
Oh,
he can
yeah.
command a room. But
I was like, why aren't you the co-lead?
I was confused because he's basically writing everything off as bullshit because she's like, this happened and it's just like this
Yeah.
other thing that happened.
Uh-huh.
Even if you don't believe in the whole death is stalking you thing, or you don't even believe in premonitions, Alex did say that he had one, and then the plane did explode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kimberly did say she had one, and then the pileup did happen.
But the only one who seems suspicious from jump is Eugene,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of weird, and he kind of carries it on for a bit, but even, honestly, a little longer than necessary, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just strange because even if you don't believe in all that superstitious
Yeah.
shit or whatever, it's still or super whatever he said, it's still undeniably similar. Like,
Yeah.
these two things that happened
Yeah.
are undeniably similar.
And for you not believing, you sure do know a lot about it.
That is
Yeah.
true. He's like, look, I've done a lot of research.
to make sure I didn't believe it.
Yes. And there is something that comes up later that may explain why he knows so much about
Yeah.
it. And I both love and hate that stuff
I'm right there with you.
because there's a lot to like, but there's some stuff that's like, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. After Eugene's little diatribe, Burke tells him that there was one survivor, Clear Rivers, who is currently at Stony Brook Institution. I do feel like this reveal would have been really cool later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we if we didn't already know.
Yeah.
Like, remember her from the first film?
Yeah.
She's back in Pog form. It's like, well, don't tell us.
I forgot the name too.
Clear?
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I will say that I did get savaged online for saying Clear. Everybody was telling me her name is Claire. It is not
No,
Claire.
it's
Yeah.
Clear.
It is Clear Rivers.
Yeah.
It is fucking
Look it up.
clean ass water.
Yeah, I was going to say, what the
I don't know. But Subi listens in from the other room, silencing an impatient Evan. Kimberly says that if she didn't block traffic, they'd all be dead. Rory posits that they all might be getting that different strokes curse. You guys remember different strokes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off.
You want to know something funny is that I looked up the different strokes curse. I know the majority of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But the first thing I saw in one of the articles was that one of the actors died at age 89. And I was like, I think that just might be,
Yeah,
that might be natural causes, man. But Nora calls bullshit and leaves with her son against Burke's protests. Mr. Corman then rushes in through the open door, embracing his daughter, glad that she's okay. The music swells as Subi excuses the others, and as the Cormans leave, Kimberly shoots a glance at Burke. I guess they're going to bang later or something. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
I was waiting on that the whole movie.
Yeah.
It made me laugh because as soon as Kimberly's dad gets there, it's like, all right, you're free to go. I'm like,
Yeah.
were they waiting on,
Yeah, I
on
don't
him
know.
to sign them out?
No more questions? And wait, so did everybody else get interviewed then?
I don't know.
And why
That
were
is-
they interviewed? They didn't have any fucking premonitions. Dude, I don't know what's happening.
That's why there's a lot of stuff that, like, when I watched this when I was younger, I was like, well, yeah, they were almost. It's like, no, because all that shit that I saw, that didn't
Yeah.
actually happen.
No.
So,
Like, they were almost killed. Or...
yeah, when you take a closer look, it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
And I thinking about it now, you mentioned about the looks they give each other or whatever.
Yeah.
How old is, I know she's driving and taking, but I mean, even 18, 19-year-olds can do that. You're a cop, and how long have you been in the force? What the fuck's happening?
What are
long
your
have you been on the
credentials?
force?
Well,
What's your badge?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's,
I think she's supposed to be a college student because they are going to drink, but then again, high school students drink.
yeah.
You ever see that episode of Sunny where they got all the fake IDs? And-
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, dude. But at the Corman's house sometime later, Kimberly sits with her dad at the dining room table. She asks him if her mom ever had any weird feelings about things. She's trying to find out if she's half psychic or something, I guess.
Right.
He doesn't even answer. He goes, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I was like, that is not an answer.
Not at all.
And I thought that this was going to be set up to some kind of payoff
Yeah.
about Kimberly's mom.
No.
It is not.
No.
We never talk about it again.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But she says she's just scared for the others and has had a bad feeling that it is not over yet.
All right, let's bubble wrap you and sit you in front of the TV.
Yeah, I mean, how
Yeah.
protective do we need
Yeah.
that? But we glide over a ton of debris and toys in the hallway of an apartment building where we see Evan arriving home carrying a ton of shit. He's just spending that lotto money.
Yeah.
So I get nothing happened or whatever yet, but I mean, so you got saved from this lady that's spouting this crazy shit.
Yeah.
You go get questioned about it at the police station, and immediately it's off to the mall to go buy this computer
Yeah.
and whatever the fuck else I'm carrying.
He's like, dude, this money's not going to
Yeah.
spend
Yeah,
itself.
that made me laugh because it feels like it's sometime later. 'Cause
Yeah.
like you just said, we cut from the station to Kimberly's house. And so we have no idea how much time has gone by. This dude's out here, throwing his money around, buying shit. And then later on, it's like, blah, blah, blah. It's either, I'm sure we'll get to it, but they say that the crash happened either today or yesterday. And I was like, this dude moved on fucking fast.
I was looking at it, and I did notice that Kimberly and her father were drinking coffee, and so I was like, well, normal people only drink coffee once a day, so maybe this
Not
is the
us,
next
though.
morning.
Yeah,
No.
no.
So I was like, this could be an hour after getting home from the station.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. That was a great question. But Evan's vision is obstructed by his brand new 2003 iMac, as well as a ton of other bags.
Yeah.
I was like, we love the product placement.
Yeah.
How much they pay you for that, man? But he trips over almost everything in the hallway, but he finally makes it into his apartment, setting everything down. He takes an errant pen pan full of spaghetti that's on his table and flings it out the window, and we see the pasta hit the pavement.
That pissed me off.
Yeah, I don't understand why he did that.
He's like, I'm rich, I don't need fucking leftovers.
He threw spaghetti out the window, and my note is, wow, what a piece of shit.
Well, we all love spaghetti in this house.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
But he puts the now empty pan on the stove, switching it on and turning on some music.
Empty-ish, because there was still a noodle or two in there.
Well, he's a bachelor, man.
And I know that this is not Mac Daddy Death's style, as you know, it is referred to in this franchise. But if you leave pasta out, it does develop a bacteria that will kill you. So he's already in danger.
Yeah.
Dude, so it would be worse if he just ate the leftovers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, I don't feel well, guys. That's their next meeting. But he takes his shirt off because I guess he likes to cook unencumbered.
Right.
Well, he's got to show off that fucking sick nipple ring. How else is he going to do that?
He got that with his money.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah. It is solid gold. No, I don't know. But he snags some old takeout and frozen snacks from his fridge and sprays some oil into the pan, but it gets away from him a little bit. An odd wind blows into the room, whipping the flames of the gas stove.
It's here.
Oh, yeah. If we know one thing about death, it brings a lot of wind with it.
Yeah.
But when Evan turns his head, we see that there are plastic magnet letters that spell Hey E on his fridge. The H falls off and into his takeout container, leaving a word that will come into play very shortly.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I see you.
Yeah. See, I like that.
Yeah, but this is when I'm like, we're already so trained. Because I'm like, that could happen, that could happen, that could happen. Like, you just see everywhere's a death trap.
You already said, what, botulism, I think? I'm honestly a big fan of the fake outs.
Right.
Because you really never know when it's coming.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, these are pretty well orchestrated.
Right.
But he fries up some cheese sticks and pops the takeout container into the microwave. He pops on a brand new gold watch as he checks his answering machine, and he has a couple of messages from women from his past who are trying to reconnect now that he's won the lottery.
Right.
No, those women were super cash and fucking not transparent at all.
Yeah,
it had
I
nothing to do.
I can't believe that they were like, so I heard.
What?
Yeah.
It made me laugh because one of them was like, remember we met at that party last year?
They're like, there's some money involved.
Yeah.
Please call me.
Did you mention that when he's trying to fry the frozen, I guess, cheese sticks, whatever it is, he like splashes oil onto the fire?
I said it got away from him a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, oh.
No, yeah.
Very nervous.
That's part one of the worry.
Well, that oil got hot really fast, and I would imagine that a magnet, I don't know if you've ever accidentally put something metal in the microwave.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It happens immediately.
Yeah.
I would like to think that magnet would set off some kind of reaction.
No, that microwave was
fast.
like, well, we'll allow it for a little bit.
right.
Yeah.
But you better take them.
Yeah.
They're like, hold tight.
You've got 1 minute.
The H stood for hold tight.
Yeah.
But he checks out a gold diamond ring that he bought, but gets startled when the takeout starts shooting sparks in the microwave.
Finally.
There you go. Yeah. Take forever. So he accidentally drops the ring right down the garbage disposal, immediately reaching in to retrieve it, but getting stuck on his new watch.
I am triggered.
Yes.
The second a garbage disposal enters the chat, I'm out. I cannot.
No, we're out.
Why didn't he stop the microwave first?
Because the gold.
But it's not going anywhere.
He's no,
Right.
Well, I think he's kind of dumb. He's like, I don't remember that meal being that spicy.
Right, that's hot.
Yeah,
Fire.
goddamn. Better gird my loins for that shit. And then he reaches in. But the music picks up as the microwave continues sparking and his cheese sticks catch fire, which might be the biggest tragedy of the film.
Yeah.
R.I.P. cheese sticks.
Yeah, we all love cheese sticks here. But his smoke alarm goes off as he tries to whip the fire with a dish towel.
What the fuck?
I don't
I don't know.
Of course, he only knocks it to the floor, spreading the fire everywhere.
The whole time he's swatting at it, I'm like, stop.
Or let go of the ring.
Yes.
He's
Please.
stuck now.
Oh, his watch. That's what's going
Yeah.
on.
I don't know. He doesn't seem like the
Homer,
brighter.
are you just holding
holding
on
the
to the
cans? Your point being? But he eventually gets loose, thankfully, and it was funny watching him try to soap up his arm.
Yeah.
But he retrieves a fire extinguisher from under the sink, but it doesn't do shit.
Nope.
He goes to escape out the window, but both windows slam shut on their own. So he just smashes the window with a nearby chair and rushes down the fire escape. On his way down, his entire apartment explodes, sending debris out of the shattered windows. The ladder is stuck several feet above the ground, so he tries to bounce on it, using his body weight to knock it loose. So there's been like 15 things that I'm like, oh no, that's going to be
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
And so there's just so many diversions.
For me, that's the best part of this whole sequence because you're sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be this. Okay, no. No, it's definitely going to be this. No.
Not so fast. But the ladder finally loosens and slides down, and he clumsily hits the alley, landing on his feet. He literally says, "Damn, I'm lucky."
Yeah.
But then he immediately slips on the spaghetti that he threw out.
I knew that was a bad move.
Absolutely.
Don't be fucking littering. Somebody could have been walking. He just blindly that like pissed me off.
What's funny to me is that his sink is very close to that table as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he'd have to I don't know, turn the garbage disposal. Who
And
wants to do that?
we're not doing that.
I'm not touching the garbage disposal.
But he falls on his back into broken glass, the ladder dislodging even more, stopping right above his eye. He starts to laugh it off, but then it falls further, impaling him through the eye, killing him.
So he's dead, right?
Yes.
And so he's dead.
Yes, he is dead.
Mark him off your bingo card.
Why would you stay there? As soon as it stopped, move. Roll out of the way.
Well, you should. I mean, he laughed because he's like, I'm the luckiest motherfucker.
I feel like in the impact, the CGI, I don't think 100% holds up, but it's still very shocking.
No, yeah.
And then you're like, the fridge said I.
It did. Remember,
did.
guys?
Yeah.
Now, I will push back a little bit on the CGI.
All right.
Because, well, I guess you disagree. Because it's a bit of composite work with CGI, practical effects, and like a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the gore splattering, it still got me.
Yeah, no, nobody's saying it didn't.
Yeah, it did look cool, but I mean, I don't know this spaghetti. Come on, and I was like, oh.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah,
But
It's like, are we really doing fucking 8 Mile?
I wasn't even. Oh yeah, I was like, I forgot what I was even saying at this point. Ari had come in when I was watching the scene, and I was like, look, like, I gave her a quick play-by-play about the first movie or whatever, and we're watching, and he's swatting the fire with the towel. She was like, he deserves whatever happens to him.
That's so stupid.
There's been bad luck with towels in this franchise because the teacher in the first one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
So don't touch towels.
Yeah, just period. It's a bad idea. I did want to call out the special effects because they said, at least on the practical side, I thought it would make Tom Savini very proud because they used a condom
Hey.
and they filled it with ground beef, raw egg,
Wow.
blood packs, and olive oil.
All right.
It worked.
Yeah.
It But we cut to Burke at work on his computer researching Alex Browning. We see an archive photo of Carter Horton attached to an article about his death by Paris Sign at the end of the first film. He then finds a website where somehow someone has collected photos of all the dead Flight 180 survivors.
I was like, is he on fucking rotten.com?
I have no
It's
idea.
horrible.
I got annoyed
The
because...
dark web.
Yeah, this is the first... Whenever they had a picture of Todd in the tub,
Yeah.
it was clearly a production still.
Yeah.
But it said, nice shot of Todd before the coroner arrived. I'm like, no, it didn't. Shut the fuck up.
I was also distracted because as he's clicking through the article, he's tapping on the mouse with his ring finger.
Who does that?
Literally
I
no
don't-
one.
Someone who got cast 4 days.
Like, I didn't know my character would use computers so weirdly.
Right? I was
but
trying to give him an arc. You
Yeah.
know?
he's a ring finger kind of guy.
Sure.
But at the bottom of the page, they're all listed with their photos and manner of death, like a morbid Wikipedia entry. Sickopedia, if you will.
Ah, I
Will
like
you?
it.
Okay.
We will. We'll allow it.
But then we see another article. Falling brick takes life of Flight 180 survivor. Yes, folks. Alex Browning, the first film's protagonist, was killed off screen between films.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody can see me, but I am rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that if you were going to do this, which like fuck off for doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but if you just had to do this, a brick?
Yeah.
Like somebody threw it at him, or like it fell off a building, or like...
I think
falling brick, I think is what it said.
in my mind, Death's wind dislodged it.
It just threw it at him.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it.
So how fucking disappointing,
I don't
though.
know.
That is incredibly disappointing.
Death fucking farted on it.
Yeah.
We're known for our highbrow humor.
Yeah, but-
One thing I will say that kind of, I mean, these were the options that they had talked about
Right.
on commentary. They said they obviously had the brick idea, which I don't like.
Yeah.
But the other ideas were a flesh-eating bacteria.
Okay.
Hey, don't leave the noodles.
Yeah.
I told y'all.
And something with a ceiling fan. That's a direct quote.
That's
Something.
points for being
Yeah.
super specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
If he had to die, we could have at least had something at the beginning of this
Yeah.
one. He was like, he led us into battle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it just kind of pisses me off.
And I'm sorry, this whole film, I'm like, wow, it's going to be really cool when Kimberly, who has premonitions, meets up with Alex, who had a
Who
premonition.
has,
Yeah.
Or, I know that we got mad.
Okay.
We got mad at the prospect of this in Dr. Sleep. But what if Alex was related to her mom somehow? Who did mom have premonitions? And he's like, stop fucking talking about your mom.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I don't know. We don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about Kimberly's mom. I don't. It seems like that was a useless line now, but that it could have led to something.
Yeah.
And they just left it in. I don't know. It's cheesy, but I would have believed it.
I would have preferred it if we got to see Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe at the beginning, let something happen to him.
Yeah.
Instead of dude explaining all that shit. It's like, we know what the movie is.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a way
Yeah.
better opening.
We
because-
watched the first film.
And you
Yeah.
think that this is going to be more of the same with Alex. Maybe he's like doing his thing and avoiding
Right.
death, and then something horrible happens. And then we're thrown off kilter. That is a Marion Crane situation.
Well,
Exactly.
And then
That would've
it
been
could
great.
lead into why she's asleep. She's listening to them talk about him.
His death.
Recently passed away.
Yeah.
That's why this is all brought up.
Put us in coach. We
Yes.
could have written this better.
You know, honestly, you do a cold open almost like Drew Barrymore.
yes.
Okay, yeah.
And then have it, that's
Damn it.
perfect.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
What a missed opportunity.
You want to hear the more ridiculous one that I just remembered?
Oh,
They dropped the brick.
No, they said that in their original stages, they dropped the brick. That's very good.
Thanks.
Well played. They said that in the script, when they were first planning it,
Yeah.
the first idea for Final Destination 2 was that because Alex had cheated death so many times,
Right.
he became a daredevil.
Oh my God.
He's fucking Lance Murdoch.
Yeah.
He's like,
He jumped the Springfield Gorge.
fuck.
So,
Oh my
All
God.
right, I'm
that
Alex.
movie.
Welcome to Jackass. It's like, oh,
yeah.
That movie would have been something completely different.
I honestly prefer the brick at that point.
yeah. No.
Give me a brick.
Thank you, Brick. But they had, like we had talked about in the intro with the two conflicting stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said either it was a financial dispute, but on commentary, all they talked about was like, they said, no, creatively, we just figured it would be better to have either Alex or Clear return. And once we realized it should have been Clear, we had no choice but to kill Alex off.
Why would it should have? Why
yeah.
did it? I don't. That doesn't make any sense.
It makes
to
no
me.
sense to me either. I'm not saying I don't believe them, but
Yeah.
I also don't know how to finish that sentence. But this is when Burke looks up the word premonition.
I laughed out loud because he's like, "And what does premonition mean?"
It's like dictionary.com. It's like, what? But at Kat's apartment, she walks on the treadmill, smoking a cigarette and telling her mother on the phone to watch the story about the accident on the news.
We love to see it.
Yeah.
Don't-
Like, what are you doing?
The only other time I've seen somebody smoking and doing some kind of exercise was on Old School. And I don't really think this fits that kind of movie. So I don't know what the fuck was going on here.
She's a character, man.
Yeah.
But we then see Nora and Tim watching the news from their couch at their house as well. Eugene watches the news from his house. Very badass looking house. It's got like fucking stairs and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you're a high school teacher. That's very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah,
They don't pay teachers enough. Is
they
what
do not.
No.
I'm trying to say. But the anchors, played by Jill Kropp and Merritt Green, say that the pileup killed 18 people. Kimberly watches with her father when on the news they show footage that someone somehow captured of Burke saving her from the speeding 18-wheeler that crashed into her vehicle and killed her friends.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Dude,
They were like 6 shot before the
Yeah.
corner, right?
I was just taking my drone out for a fly.
Yeah.
Like, what?
In 2003.
I was like, yeah, you remember it's 2003,
Yeah.
right? Like, dude, cell phone cameras, you couldn't tell a car from a person.
Oh,
like, there would be no
no.
way that. So, no. But her dad rushes to turn it off, but she says to just leave it on. At Rory's place, he's having a party surrounded by women and snorting coke off the coffee table.
Yeah, no, when I have Coke parties, I like definitely want to watch the news.
Oh, yeah.
Like for sure.
It's like, look, we got to stay up to date.
Plus, he's the only one doing it. They're just sitting there laughing.
Well,
They're like, Roy's doing this Coke again, man. And this is when I do have it in my notes that the news report does say that this happened today.
well,
What the fuck?
dude, then this has been the busiest.
This is like, that's absurd. Like everybody recovered from this very quickly
I guess.
due to throwing a fucking party. He's like, I already made these plans. I committed to
But
them.
look,
Yeah.
I get it. He's probably like, fuck, I almost died.
Uh-huh.
But I don't understand like what's going on here.
Rory doesn't break plans. That's one thing.
If you know one thing about Rory,
He's-
really two things. He loves his cocaine
Yes,
and he
there you
does
go.
not break plans.
All right.
But as they're watching the news, he's like, I was there, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Go back to snorting coke.
But everything goes sour when the anchor shares the news of Evan's freak accident death. The other survivors look on in confusion and horror. The fact that that death didn't even wait a day is
Yeah.
really
It kills me.
is really getting to me.
And they're like, and quote unquote, other news. It's like, no, it's not.
Like, no, we can't. Yeah. This is very related.
But wouldn't you, seeing that, know that you were fucked?
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if I was, and I would have believed Kimberly because that's who I am as a person. But even if you didn't, that would scare the shit out of me.
If I'm Eugene, I'm starting to have some second thoughts.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe
yeah.
I shouldn't have been an asshole in the end. But that night, Nora interrupts Tim, who is reading Stephen King's Bag of Bones, to give him a sleeping pill.
Yeah.
That book is so good.
Is it really?
And so sad.
I think they made a made-for-TV movie with Pierce Brosnan in it, and there's a very funny scene with him on the answering machine
Yeah.
that you should really look up.
Oh, no.
I saw it years ago on The Soup, and the person leaving the message is waiting for him to give his little quips in between for some reason. I don't know how they timed it, but it's fucking hilarious.
See this now.
It's so funny. And I thought that book would have something to do with his death.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought the same
Nothing.
thing because I was like, oh, how are they going to tie? It's like, no.
Yeah.
He's
No.
just like Stephen
He's
King.
just reading a Stephen King book.
But Nora tells him that tomorrow he'll be going to the dentist, which, yikes, on its own.
Yeah.
Before she leaves, though, he asks if she thinks the whole premonition and death following them thing is BS, and she says that it is.
But y'all saw the news.
Yeah.
But I think she's trying to make her son feel better. He's like, look, I'm scared as fuck.
He's old enough.
Yeah.
Son,
We need to talk
need
about
to-
that. But she shuts off the lights and they say their goodnights. The funny thing that you mentioned his age is that in the original screenplay, he was supposed to be 7 or 8.
Oh, wow.
that's maybe too much.
Yeah.
I think they realized, they were like, ooh.
I'm glad they made him older.
Especially for what we are about.
Yeah.
Yes.
But thunder crackles outside of Kimberly's window as we zoom past a terrifying trapeze clown hanging in her room
Yeah.
to find her tossing and turning in bed. I want closure on these fucking puppets.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, in the shadows, on her ceiling, we see the branches of a tree outside morph into 2 skeletal hands reaching out to her.
It made me think of Coraline.
I've never seen
Oh,
Coraline.
right.
It had Coraline
Yeah.
vibes. But I was like, that's a lot.
It is. I don't know that death fucked with them like that.
Yeah.
No, that's what. Okay. There's something. I'll wait to mention it because there's a scene that is pretty egregious because I'm like, this is not my death from
Yeah.
the first installment, but we'll get there.
I will say, because I remember him showing up as a shadow,
Yeah.
Right.
not like, I'm going to
Yeah.
get you. Like, this is very funny.
I did like this, but
It
it's
looked
very
ve-
it's very out of place.
I think that's
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
is I'm like having an argument with myself.
Because it looks cool
it
as
does
shit.
look
Yeah.
cool, but it's like,
but
what?
it's like,
In this?
I don't think.
Like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
Like, what?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I thought we were not supposed to know you were coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're warning
Yeah.
me now? But after seeing those hands, she gives up on sleep, hopping onto her computer and reading an article about clear rivers.
Another research scene.
Yep.
We love a research scene. My thing was they really put all of Clear's business in this article.
They did.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I don't know that.
Journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
Anyone?
This is not okay.
But she looks up the Stony Brook Institution, getting the address as well as a plan.
From MapQuest.
Yeah. Do you guys remember MapQuest?
So shout out MapQuest.
Yeah.
But the next morning, we see her driving there as fog covers the grounds.
James Wan?
Yeah.
Dude,
Are you here?
I loved the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then they quickly abandoned it. But I thought they were going to spend more time outside.
I feel like we thought a lot of stuff about it.
All right.
I think that didn't end up happening.
Fair point. I do dig the music in this section as well.
Yeah.
I appreciate what they're going for. But they immediately head inside, where physician, played by Allison Matthews, says that at the patient's request, Kimberly is to relinquish any sharp objects, and she gives a long list as Kimberly gives up the applicable items and puts them in a basket.
She's like, your belt, your keys, your ugly necklace.
But she even checks Kimberly's nails to make sure that they're not Wolfman status.
Yeah.
Kimberly asks if Clear is dangerous, and physician says that she expects that Kimberly is.
I mean, she's smart.
Yeah.
There is, okay, whatever you think about Clear in this upcoming thing,
Yeah.
there is nothing wrong about any of the stuff she's doing.
No.
And for fucking Kimberly to be...
No. We'll get there.
Okay.
Because I'm sure we have similar thoughts.
Okay, fair enough. But they head down a long hall, past the cries and complaints of other patients, learning that Clear is actually in here voluntarily. We watch as the padded cell opens, and after looking over at a collection of newspapers and photos, all Pepe Sylvia style, we see Clear Rivers, played by Allie Larder, standing in the corner.
I will say that I'm happy to see her again.
Right.
Yes.
Were y'all thrown off by the fact that they're letting Kimberly in, a complete stranger, to see her with no supervision?
Right.
Isn't that weird?
I think if she was here involuntarily, it'd be different.
I get that, but isn't there like a visiting area?
She doesn't want out of that cell.
Yeah.
I don't know. This felt weird.
The visiting area has probably got like those coffee stirrers and shit.
And like those sharp vending machines. Those vending machines that bite you.
Yeah, dude. These are fucking death traps, man. But she tells Kimberly not to come any closer and says that she heard that she was involved in the pileup on Route 23. Kimberly explains she had a vision and that she saved the others, and Clear guesses that she thinks death is after her now. Kimberly tells her about Evan's death and asks if the others are in danger now. Clear says that if she put them on the list, they're already dead. She tells Kimberly that the survivors of Flight 180 died in the order they were meant to die on the plane, and that is what she refers to as death's design, death's list.
Right.
After learning that Burke intervened and saved her from being struck by the speeding truck, Clear tells her that she'll be the last to go. But don't worry, after death kills all the others, it'll come back for her too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks. Thanks.
Kimberly says that doesn't make sense because her friends died last in her premonition, but died first in real life.
I was like, thank you, because
Yes.
I had been quietly annoyed the entire time that Evan died first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we saw that it was him and then it was them
Right.
Yeah.
in Kimberly's van.
Yes. This throws Clear for a loop, and she realizes that death may be working backwards. Kimberly says in her premonition, it was Nora and Tim, Evan, then her and her friends. She asks why this is even happening to her, and Clear's like, Alex used to say that. It's like, well, did he used to say the too? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Weird shit is happening to all of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. But Kimberly asks what she's supposed to do, and Clear says to watch for the signs. Anything creepy or ominous or ironic, because Death apparently loves that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Claire was a lot nicer than I would have been.
Yeah.
Because Kimberly is what am I supposed? Okay.
Yeah.
First thing you're going to do is take the bass out of your voice. You came here asking for my help.
Yeah.
Like, she's disrespectful as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing, because right here, Kimberly is like, you have to help me. Clear's like, I don't got to do
I don't
shit.
I don't have to do
I'm
a
cool,
fucking
yeah.
thing.
Clear tells her to just worry about herself, but Kimberly tells her that she has a responsibility. No. Clear says that her friends are dead, which honestly, they weren't all her friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says that again later, and I'm like, okay. I know that, like, we look back on things with rose-colored glasses, but
Yeah.
you, like, didn't even like most
Yeah.
of it.
No, you met them like this week, I think. But she shows a Polaroid of Alex's corpse, which he keeps around for some reason.
I was like, they let her have that Polaroid in here?
Just tacked up on the wall.
Oh, what the fuck?
But she says that this is what happened to Alex when she was responsible for him. Then she just kicks Kimberly out of the cell. Kimberly calls her a selfish coward, too bitter to help anyone but herself. She says, in her opinion, Clear is already dead.
Okay, yeah, I'm dead, but you're here asking for my help. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Oh, no, the opinion of someone I just met.
Yeah, this rude bitch that just came into my cell.
Literally do not care.
I know at this moment we're supposed to be like, yes, Kimberly.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, you're rude.
Again, I'm straight up
what
on
a bitch.
straight up on Clear's side.
Yeah.
Clear just waves goodbye to her as she leaves, and it's very funny to me because, again, this is our protagonist. Kimberly flips Clear off.
Yeah.
Which she sees on the CCTV before sitting on her bed.
We're really supposed to be on Kimberly's side, I think.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
fuck you, Clear, the one that we cared about in the first movie.
grow up.
We're already on Clear's side before she even is on screen.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah, man, that's not how you don't step to the OG like that
Not
at all.
Honestly, I would have been. I understand that we have to have something. Again, the screenwriting process is like baffling to me because I'm trying to think. I'm like, well, they literally gave away that Clear was still alive in a very like thrown away manner.
Yes.
They don't give us Alex back to have somebody who's had premonitions get to talk to Kimberly about them.
Nope. It's flawed.
Okay.
It is flawed.
Fair enough. But in the next scene, we see Kimberly arriving home to find Burke waiting for her on her porch.
Hold on.
What?
He's not just waiting for her. He was looking through her fucking windows in her house.
Oh, he was casing the place.
Who does
He's
that?
like, they just leave their shit out like that?
It's like, oh, I'm coming back later.
He's got a side project going on. Being a cop doesn't pay all the bills, man. But he says that since Evan's death, he's been getting calls from all the other survivors, and they're planning to meet tonight at his apartment.
Does that line up with what we know of the survivors so far? Because they were still calling bullshit.
Yeah.
For them to be like, Detective Burke, we need to... It's like, I don't see that happening. I see Kimberly doing that.
Yeah. Calling
I don't know.
them to tell them
Yeah.
that they're in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
It doesn't gel with what we know of the people that are left.
Especially Eugene.
Especially Eugene.
But she asks if he believes all the death business, and he says that he didn't until last year when he was dispatched to clean up one of the Flight 180 survivors. Kimberly is like, clean up. I don't.
Yeah.
They were dead.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't
what do you
understand.
want? Like,
Oh, I just wiped their ass.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
do you want to see the sick photo I took before the coroner?
Oh, that was you?
You son of a bitch. He was just checking his own website.
He's like, yeah,
He's
people
like,
really,
yeah, everything's in order.
They really like that one.
That's a lot of hits. His fucking WordPress or whatever. But then she notices in her reflection a flock of pigeons swarming on her, so she shields herself dramatically as Burke just looks on like, what the fuck?
It was really funny.
It's embarrassing. She asks if he saw them, but he didn't see anything. She tells him it's a sign, and if Clear is right about the order, Tim and Nora are going to be attacked by pigeons. If they don't find them, they will die. Back at the institution, Clear looks over a newspaper clipping, growing more and more antsy before taking off her hospital bracelet and walking toward the door. We see she was looking at a story about Evan's death. I assumed she was looking at Alex's.
Right.
I did too, because who the fuck gave her that? That just happened yesterday.
Did they slide under the door?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's today's paper.
And I'm sorry, but I don't understand how she even gets this there. She's like, well, bring me anything about death.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I don't understand.
You don't understand because it doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay. I don't think fucking Kimberly brought it with her.
Yeah.
That
She
would
wasn't
have
allowed to bring anything. That would have been a paper
No.
cut.
no, yeah, and that would have made sense if she was like, "Oh well, look, if you don't help,
This is on
what's
your
gonna
hands."
happen." Yeah, but no,
She just ended up with it.
Yep.
But at the dentist's office, Tim looks into a fish tank in the waiting room before being called in by Jean, the receptionist played by Benita Ha. Before going into the office, he tells Nora that if he gets put under with the gas but wakes up with his pants unbuttoned, they're not paying.
I think he was up late watching Seinfeld last night.
Yeah, I guess so. Nora's like, you're so full of beans today. Like, he just laughs it off. I'd be like, don't fight. And Gene is
said
like,
it loud as
Jesus
fuck.
Christ. We don't do that here, sir. But he heads into the office where Dr. Leese, played by Fred Henderson, greets him, asking him where he was yesterday. Tim says they got hung up by the accident on Route 23, and Leese tells him that he's lucky he's okay. Tim climbs into the chair, and Leese says Nora told him he's been having some pain lately. Tim disagrees. So this, again, would make a lot more sense if he was 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're 15 years old, you can tell the dentist where you're hurting.
No.
Yeah, no, my mom's a liar, man. It's like, what? How old are you?
I love the prospect of them literally aging this kid almost 10 years and being like, no, the dialogue's fine.
That wasn't the problem.
Just keep it the same.
But there's a ton of construction going on outside the window, which I'm sure will not come up.
Right.
No, not at all.
But back in the waiting room, we see that the fish tank has sprung a leak right next to an outlet. Back in the office, Lise is poking and prodding, asking if Nora knows that Tim smokes. He says that she does, but I call bullshit.
Yeah.
In that moment, you got to say yes and just be like, maybe he won't bring it up.
He's like, please don't tell her. So I mean, that doesn't apply to a 7 or 8 year old. So I guess
No.
Well, they added in. They just didn't.
Yeah.
that's like what we have is gold. We might win an Oscar. But as they're getting into the exam, a pigeon slams right into the glass, cracking it. Lisa's like, how many times am I going to have to replace those goddamn windows? I'm like, you have a patient, dude.
I know. I laughed because the pigeon just shook it off and kept it moving.
Yeah, dude.
The pigeon handled it very well.
I remember reading somewhere that was an omen of death or something, but I had never heard that in my life.
Yeah.
Birds are sometimes dumb.
Yeah.
Shit just happens.
Your windows are just super clean.
Yeah,
There
really.
was a window washer outside.
Exactly. Be proud of yours. Give him a raise. But Lise goes to inject him for a filling, but right when the needle is about to go in, another pigeon smashes into the window. He then suggests the laughing gas instead, and Tim agrees to it.
He's like, this is fucking unbelievable.
You see that shit? But he gets the gas started as he calls for the receptionist who can't hear him over the construction noises. Back in the waiting room, the water is spreading towards Nora and soaking the wall with the outlet, so it's again teasing us.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is just the perfect storm of shit happening.
But I mean, there's enough shit going on with Tim in the waiting room. Like, we think that she's just gonna be electrocuted.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot, man. But back in the office, Lise is going to work with Tim's mouth held open and the gas mask on his nose. A tear falls down his cheek, which is a little dramatic.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I go to the dentist.
Well, hell yeah, but I don't let the dentist see.
That's just rude.
Yeah. But we then get a shot of Kimberly and Burke in his car, Kimberly getting off the phone saying that the cleaning lady has given her the address to the dentist's office where Tim and Nora are.
You're fired.
Absolutely.
I was like, you got to give it up to the cleaning lady giving away fucking personal information.
Like, oh, hell yeah, I could tell you where they are.
Yeah, not only, they're at the dentist. Oh, no, the one downtown.
Exactly. Dude, this is literally the plot of a Curb episode where the cleaning lady kept saying,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
they said Larry was at a U2 concert and everyone's like, you went to see U2? It's like, who the fuck told you? But we hear glass smash in the waiting room and Lisa's like, God damn it. Nora gets out of her seat, narrowly avoiding an electric shock.
I gotta say, it's the most unprofessional.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, you mentioned it before, but this is Tim Watley status, honestly.
Is there porn in the waiting room?
Hey, if they're-
I think that's where they are.
But we then see that a pigeon has smashed through the window and they're trying to wrangle it when Lise walks in.
So at this point, I'm like, so are the birds friend or foe? Because she got up because the pigeon came in, so that saved her from
Right.
being electrocuted.
Exactly. I don't know. And sometimes they shit on us, so I don't. There's no
But
telling.
that's good luck.
Yes,
That is good.
I
luck.
don't
Explain
understand.
that to
Look,
me.
nothing's completely good or completely
Yeah.
bad. Okay, it's a mix of both.
Life is crapshoot, really. Well, if you're a bird, it really is.
Ah, that's funny.
Well, thanks. But the electric shocks short out the oxygen that Tim is getting in the dentist's office.
Now you got a lawsuit on your hands.
Yeah.
For some reason, there's a mobile overhead, and a little fish breaks off of it, lands right in Tim's mouth. He is straight up dying.
Yeah. And again, the mobile would make sense if he was a child.
Yeah, it would.
There's no reason for that to be
He's like, well, that's meant to distract you, little boy.
And that toy fish was like swimming in his mouth. I was like,
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
fuck?
The fish was in on it, I think.
Yeah.
just waiting for his cue.
But thematically, it would make sense if he were to die this way because he started the scene looking at the fish in
Yeah.
the waiting room.
That's the thing is,
The fish that was stuck.
Yes.
Yes.
Nobody helped.
Yeah.
yeah, that was rude.
Yeah.
I flashed on Finding Nemo because we were at a dentist's office, but
Of course.
I felt like if any of these deaths were to come to fruition, they made sense.
Yeah.
Like they completed these little callbacks and stuff.
Absolutely.
But, we're not done.
Yeah.
Yes. But with Tim's vision going blurry, thankfully, Jean steps in, reaches out, and pulls out the obstruction. She has a very worried look on her face like, that could have been.
Yeah.
Well, he was
Like-
dying. He was
Yeah.
literally dying.
The doctor's like, well, pigeons are more important. It's unbelievable. But we cut to Tim and Nora leaving the dentist's office together, noticing Kimberly and Burke off in the distance. Fun fact, the dentist's office is like Ellis Medical Plaza. That's the director's name.
How funny.
But Kimberly sees Tim and Nora and she screams, "The pigeons!" But Nora doesn't understand. Tim, however, notices a flock of pigeons on the ground and with a big smile on his face, rushes over to scatter them.
They caused that.
You
Oh,
idiot.
yeah.
If you wouldn't have yelled for them to get your attention, for him to see in that direction, they would never have seen them.
This
Like
is
the
Kimberly's
pigeons.
fault.
Kick-
Yeah, no,
kick
yeah.
the pigeons.
Yeah. You want me to kick their asses? You got it, boss.
But again, this behavior would be better suited for an
child,
8-year-old.
right.
Yeah, because I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing?
But what we're about to see next, they could not do.
no, no.
He sends the pigeons right into the face of a construction worker who hits a lever, sending a thick sheet of glass crashing down, crushing Tim and contorting his body into a bloody mess on impact.
It's a lot.
It is a
Yeah.
lot. And it looks great.
It does.
No, it looks cool.
Still.
He's
Yeah.
flattened.
Yes, and I know the reason why it still looks great is because it was all practical.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah,
that
there's-
looks good.
Yeah, there's no CGI. The only CGI here is they duplicated some of the birds so it would look like there was more.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that was it.
I'll forgive that.
They said that they had to do this twice because they built the dummy, but like his legs didn't work the first time.
Yeah.
And so they didn't collapse the right way and it ended up looking hilarious.
I want to see that take.
They're
though.
like, add more gore and fix those fucking legs. But, wow, a quick pivot. Nora sobs into the arms of a random construction worker. And I wrote down in my notes, but I totally 100% agree. Kimberly killed this boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
The pitch.
yeah.
I get you meant good, but maybe just get to them.
Yeah.
Don't like, hey, turn around, look at. It's like
Yeah, no.
And do they not have cell phones? Isn't Nora on a cell phone later?
Oh, yeah. Why didn't you call the mom?
This is all true.
I'm just saying. Again,
And we didn't see the phone ringing and she was like distracted by something
Yeah.
or anything like that.
No, they were just like, oh, we'll just race there and scream at them when
Yeah.
they come out of the office. It'll be fine.
Lead them directly to their deaths.
It'll
be fine.
totally fine.
But the coroner takes what's left of Tim away, and Burke can't convince Nora to go with them to their meeting, even though Kimberly tells her that she's next.
It's like, I don't fucking care right now,
Yeah.
dude.
No.
I don't give a shit about whatever you're saying. Even if I did believe her, I don't care.
Yeah.
At all.
And how did they get Tim into a body bag?
With the scoop.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. They did say on commentary that Nora's reaction and all this stuff was cut down because they said, and this makes no sense to me, they said that she was too good of an actress and it unsettled everyone how upset she got at her son's
Well,
death.
that-
You should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, if there were ever a time,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
They're like, okay, don't be that upset.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you
Like,
talking
this
about?
is Final Destination 2.
Yeah. Right. Your cousin's kid died. Maybe
Yeah.
not yours.
Yeah.
Too much talent.
Yeah.
It's
Too
like,
much talent.
you killed a bug this
Yeah.
morning. That's what I want from you. But they arrive back at the Corman home, reality setting in on Kimberly that this shit is really happening. She hoped that she was wrong and that Evan's death was just a freak accident, but she's like, we're all gonna die, aren't we?
I guess that, what you just said about them wanting to tone down her grief or her reaction. They're not big on how traumatic. They just saw Tim get fucking crushed to death and basically liquefied by a glass pane. And she's like, man, this shit, like, this is crazy. I'm just like, I would be, if I didn't even know that person, I would be inconsolable.
I'm just laughing because...
How do you witness something like that and you're just like, man, this shit's wow.
I would never recover from that, but they pull up to the house and she's like, we're really in this bitch.
Like, can you stop on the Burger King on the way home?
Yeah, I am really hungry.
Yeah, right.
That whole whatever the fuck dentist detour thing.
No, now I need some ketchup and fries.
Really starving.
And they better be fucking salty because... Oh, sorry. Customarily, I have to say fuck Burger King because they're disgusting. But
you're an idiot. But continue. He's so wrong.
There goes our sponsorship that we never had.
They can pay me. I'll talk them up. No.
Hey, can I have some of it?
Okay,
You've made your bed.
God damn it. But Kimberly says that she's scared, and Burke tells her that she doesn't have it in her to quit. I'm like, you guys met yesterday.
Yeah.
You don't know what I quit all the time.
Yeah, this is annoying.
But suddenly, Kimberly's sun visor falls down on its own, and we see a figure walk by in the vanity mirror. She turns to see Clear standing outside her window.
How did Clear find her house?
I don't know.
And secondly, did Death pull the visor down and be like, look who's here?
Yeah.
Check it out.
Right,
She's
I brought
helping.
you some help.
Exactly, yeah.
To defeat me. Yeah. I'm so confused.
I don't understand. I got, you remember on More Human Than Human when he says that he turns the world around with a skeleton hand?
Yeah. That's you're just like,
that's
okay.
the sun visor thing.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I thought of that. But
I'll accept it.
There's literally, it's like, well, Rob Zombie said it, so it's fine. But I really don't understand why Death is giving her that dramatic entrance. Like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a fake out, like we thought that something else was supposed to be, and then it turned out to be Clear. I don't know what they're going for here.
It didn't make any sense.
Okay. That explains it.
I feel like I'm saying that a lot.
Yeah. Fair point. But Kimberly tells Clear about Tim, and Clear's like, I hope you're ready for this.
It doesn't matter if she is or not.
Yeah, you're going to die. Like, shit's happening. You just said you're in this bitch. But they head to a mortuary where Burke expresses doubts that whoever Clear is going to introduce them to can help them at all.
As soon as I saw the sign, I was like, oh, shit. I got very excited.
Me too. Clear says that who she's going to introduce them to probably knows more about Death than he's even told her, and he probably already knows that they're coming. They head inside and down into a spooky basement where we see a shadow move across a wall. Smoke billows out of a freezer, and a fire rages out of an incinerator. You got both elements working.
Yes.
Clear peers through the smoke and a red light, which I thought looked pretty cool, and watches as a body is pushed out on a gurney. Out steps the man himself, Mr. Bloodworth, played by Tony Todd.
We love to fucking see it.
I heard you looking for Candyman, bitch. It's like, whoa, we came in the wrong.
Yeah, sorry. We didn't talk to a mirror. Well, maybe that was the mirror earlier in the car. It's like, well, fucking...
It tricked him.
Candyman.
Yeah. But Mr. Bloodworth greets Clear by name and says that he has been expecting her. We see that it's Evan on the gurney, and medically speaking, his eye is fucked up.
Yes. I love that he had the body ready for them and everything.
Yeah.
He's like, this is who y'all came to talk about.
And again, it's a rehash of Todd's corpse.
Yeah.
So I like this little interplay between the two movies. I think that is at least somewhat successful for me.
Yeah.
But Clear says that she has a simple question for him, and then she'll leave him alone with his new friend. Bloodworth leans over to Kimberly and says, dead, but still fresh. And he just chuckles.
He's a character.
Yes.
I don't understand why Clear is being so rude to him.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just on whoever's side that I like more. Because that's the thing. I'm like, man, fuck Kimberly. Now I'm like, Clear.
What are you doing?
You're being really rude for no. You came to him for help.
And in the first film, he did help you.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I don't understand.
In all fairness, he is a little more playful this time around. She's like,
very much so.
come on. Like, shit's serious, man.
Speed it
Stop
up.
fucking around.
Yeah. Clear is annoyed and says that if he knows how to stop Death, he needs to tell them.
But didn't he tell y'all last time that you can't beat death?
Yeah, it's a
Wasn't
fucking...
that the point?
That was the entire scene, I thought. Yeah. And he reiterates it again. He says, you can't cheat Death. There are no escapes. Clear calls bullshit, saying that he told her that Death has a design. She and Alex cheated Death dozens of times. With a pair of pliers and in very close-up shots, Bloodworth cinches on Evan's nipple ring.
I was like, just unscrew the ball. Don't.
And we thought that the thing with Todd's neck was bad in the first film.
It's too much.
He tells Clear that she's got fire in her and that people are most alive just before they die. A little something there. We'll talk. But he tears off the nipple ring and slides Evan into the incinerator. Now, they spare us a close-up of the nipple, which was polite.
Yeah.
Very polite of them. But I did hear on commentary that the dummy that they made of Evan was so heavy that 2 people had to carry it. And then when Tony Todd just slid it in with one hand, they were like, what the fuck?
He actually is Candyman.
I think so. He's got powers beyond, man. But he just whistles and goes to walk away, but Kimberly grabs his arm asking for his help. He relents, telling them that only new life can defeat death.
You could have told us that last time, man.
Yeah.
You really could have.
We could have made a baby real quick.
Yeah. You remember the deleted scene? But somehow this confuses Burke, even though it's very self-explanatory. It's like new life. I
Life
just don't.
and death. What the fuck?
This is a little too. This is over my pay grade. But Bloodworth says that it's all about balance. For every death, there's a life. Every life, there's a death. But the introduction of a life that wasn't meant to be can invalidate death's list and force death to start all over. He says, you have to follow the signs, Kimberly. And she asks how he knows her name, but he just smiles and looks over to Claire like she doesn't know the drill yet.
I was like, he looks at her like, tell your friend?
Yeah. You didn't really prepare them, did you?
This is an interesting little addition, I thought.
A nice little wrinkle.
Yeah, but again, you could have told us that last year.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up.
It's funny to me because as they're heading in, Clear's like, I think he knows more than he even told me in the first film, basically. Which made me laugh, and then it turns out he did know more.
You know what? He does.
But we cut to a gas station where Burke is filling up, and Clear hovers her hand over the emergency shutoff button. I actually love that a lot.
Yeah.
Because you got like little small moments of her paranoia.
She's on ready.
Yeah,
Like, constantly.
anything.
Yeah.
But Burke shit talks Bloodworth, and Kimberly says that he freaked her out.
This was very frustrating to me.
Yeah.
He knew your name.
Uh-huh.
That alone would make me listen to whatever he had to say.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he's talking about seeing signs when Kimberly, you have seen signs.
Yes.
And Burke, you saw Kimberly see signs.
Yes.
What are you not getting? Like, what he said made sense. What's to talk shit?
They're just like willfully.
It's annoying.
Yeah. And it's funny to me because Burke is at least positing. He's like, you know, the new life, death, whatever.
Yeah.
And Kimberly's like, he made me feel bad. It's like, you're offering nothing to this discussion. But Clear watches as a couple of skater kids walk by. Skate Rat, played by Lorne Stewart, lights up a smoke by the gas pumps. Clear smacks him on the back of the head, asking him what the fuck he's thinking. He says he's thinking she should suck on his junk. And I believe it's 2003, he calls her a biatch.
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
You gotta say the whole thing.
Early 2000s were fucking wild. Good Lord.
But they walk away, the skate rat and his flunkies or whatever. But the world warps around Kimberly, who has a vision of a van driving into a lake. Clear begins to notice all the dangers around them, cars swerving to miss each other, some guy high up on a ladder, some Butterfingers motherfucker dropping a propane tank.
I lauged out loud. That was so over the top.
I was like,
what
whoops.
the
Yeah,
fuck?
Hank Hill would fucking never.
It's like feet to head, everyone's dead.
I was like, that's too much.
At least the cars had some stakes to it.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. That's hilarious.
Is it fine? Yeah, it's fine. That's no big deal. But Kimberly is just sat against their car, choking on seemingly nothing before finally telling them what she saw. She was driving a white van, lost control, crashed into a lake, and drowned. Burke remembers Isabella, the pregnant woman in a white delivery van on the on-ramp. Clear repeats Bloodworth's words, only new life can defeat death. In a little bit of a bad ADR, Clear says if she... If she gives birth to a baby who would have died in that accident, it would fix everything. It's like, I think they forgot to.
Yeah.
Like, shit, we need to explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, people are still confused.
They're Burke.
Yeah, well, yeah, it made me laugh because she says that she has this vision, and Burke's like, "You were there? Where have you been this whole fucking time, dude?"
Do you
Every
not
premonition,
remember?
she experienced it.
She disappears when she has
Yes,
them.
exactly. She went through a portal. But Kimberly says that they have to find Isabella so she can stay away from that lake. Clear asks how they can find her, and Burke reminds her that he's a cop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
it was funny because they were like, "We need to." They said something like, "We need to keep her alive long enough so she can have the baby." And it's the implication is just like, "Oh, after that, like, who gives a fuck?"
Yeah, as
You
long as
can
the
die after
baby's
that.
here, I don't give a shit.
These people are great. They're great.
These are our protagonists, guys.
Yeah.
But in the next scene, they review footage from Burke's cruiser and find the license plate on Isabella's van.
But hold on, because they're watching that video and it zooms in on its own.
Computer enhanced.
Yeah.
I was like, you did not fucking do that.
No.
The video was playing on its own, and I was like, come on, dude.
Again, it is 2003. I don't know what tech you had, but fuck. But he finds the record and puts out an APB on the van. But we also get a very strange photo of Isabella on his computer.
I was like, is that her license photo? It was
guess-
horrible.
I guess so. They had said on commentary that Justina Machado found them after the premiere, and she was like, what the fuck was that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I would be pissed.
I'd be very pissed too. Like, come on, dude. How many pictures do you have of me?
Yeah.
No dignity. Like, I'd be pissed off.
It's bad. Like, she's looking up, her mouth's open, she looks
Her
confused.
hair's all crazy.
Yeah,
It's bad.
It's very, very rude. But I did assume that it was a license photo. I don't understand because it's not an arrest record. It's,
I don't
you
know what else it would
Yeah.
be.
But afterwards, they head to the meeting. At the apartment building, Rory is already there, snorting coke off his hand.
I was like, we get it.
Yeah, you
he
and-
loves cocaine.
Yes,
I get it.
it's the real thing.
Oh my God.
You love coke. But he rushes to make the elevator as the doors close, getting his shoe caught in the process. Man in elevator, played by Darcy Laurie, does nothing to help. But he says that he wrote to management a few weeks ago about the elevator, and Rory holds his shoe up to the man's face, asking if there's dog shit on it. The man pulls away.
What?
I don't know.
What a cool guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, right, guys?
I mean,
He really fucking showed him.
who, the elevator man?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he could have held the door. I'm not on Rory's side. I'm just
The
saying.
door doesn't work. I mean, I understand,
Yeah,
but
but
like,
I will say that if you know that it doesn't work, you should probably hold it for someone.
Yeah.
no, he couldn't. That's the thing. It closed on his shoe. Like, it was all fucked up. That's what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Okay. I'm starting to understand
You want me to
now.
stick my hand in there so it can do that to my hand?
Not
The door's
particularly.
broken. That's what I'm saying.
Well, then why aren't we taking the stairs, man?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when he, like, I know he hasn't left yet, but when he does, he walks out all smug, like, I fucking showed him.
Yeah,
I'm like, I just do. Stop.
I don't
Stop
get
it.
that.
And we're supposed to be like, Rory, won't he do it?
What won't he do? But he then tells the man that he has something on his face and licks his finger, offering to get it off for him.
Man,
Weren't you just holding your shoe, man?
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Well, it could have been the other hand.
what makes you
nasty.
think I'm going to let you lick your thumb and clean my face, dude?
Look, if we can't help out strangers, who the fuck?
Well, not after the shoe. He had the shoe in his hand. He's like,
Yeah.
that looked like, now go sanitize your hands. Yeah, go.
Say there's some Germex on floor
Yeah,
3.
it's-
But we do see the man get off on his floor, and Rory's like, what?
Yeah.
Very sitcom. I did hear in commentary this whole thing was improv, which makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
And they're like, that's it. Leave it. Keep it in.
They said that it was almost cut, but they're like, no.
Oh.
I guess they fought for this.
We need more of Rory's antics.
I guess.
Rory tested very well.
Oh my God.
But in his apartment, Burke checks in on the van situation, but it turns out they've got nothing so far. The rest of the survivors are here, even Nora, who gets a Valium from Kat. After she pops it, she says if everything that they're saying is true, then she's next. Eugene, once again, says that the whole thing is crazy.
Then why did you show up?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
why are you here, dude?
Yeah.
Because he's like super negative.
He is.
We
You're
don't
bringing
need that
down the
energy
vibe.
here.
Well, he's like, well, everyone else is going to be there. That cat was kind of cute. I thought maybe. I don't
slide by.
But Clear says the point of this whole thing is that nobody has to be next. Kat says that this can't be happening because her life is going great right now. Rory tells her maybe if she shuts the fuck up, she'll live. I'm like, man, you're really
Yeah.
endearing Rory.
Rory's great.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I don't see the correlation between her shutting the fuck up and living at all, but okay.
Maybe he's saying listen to what Clear has to say, but in a very rude way.
I guess. He's like, is there dog shit on my shoe, Cat?
It's like, is that the only bit you have? We saw you in the elevator. But Kimberly interrupts the argument, telling them to be aware of the signs. For example, if she calls them and says Subway, don't eat a footlong. No, she says, get to a high rise somewhere that a subway couldn't go.
You can't call me and speak in a complete sentence.
It's got to be quick codes, man.
Subway. It's like no.
Eat fresh. Yeah, I mean, it's
You already
delicious.
had lunch.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You want me to meet you for lunch?
And again, this is like very nitpicky, but I thought the subway was the tunnel itself, not the car.
I don't know. Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. It was a subway train or car, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But she's like, somewhere a subway couldn't go. I'm like, subway's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But she passes out burner phones to all of them. And Clear says that even though Kimberly shines or whatever she's got going on, it doesn't mean that they're incapable of noticing signs themselves. But Eugene, again, he just got handed a phone and he calls bullshit immediately. And when Clear snaps back at him, he says there's nobody after them but her trying to make everyone crazy. He grabs his jacket and we watch as a billiard ball keychain breaks off from one of his keys, rolling into a mousetrap, hitting a wire that sends a hanging kayak sailing towards Clear, who jumps out of the way as it smashes into a window.
Why does Burke live in a sporting goods store?
Yeah.
And
Don't know.
this is what I want my Final Destination death. I want the dominoes.
Yeah.
The Rube Goldberg.
Absolutely.
This made that fall. Made that.
Yeah.
I don't want him slamming windows shut when I'm trying to leave.
No,
I want crazy shit to happen like this.
No, that's fair. It makes me laugh because Death's like, okay, so he's gonna kick a bunch of pigeons in the ass, right? and then what? Death smash him.
But you don't know that construction worker. His biggest fear is pigeons, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we're priming him. And I say that with love because I do love a lot of these death sequences, but I also loved the like domino effect, like you're saying.
That's what I came here for. That's my favorite. And I do, like you said, I do appreciate the deaths, almost all of them. And I am ribbing this, but I do speak from a place of love and nostalgia.
Absolutely.
But there's just some ridiculous shit. I can't help it.
That as an adult, you can't really ignore.
No, you can't excuse it.
I laughed out loud, though, because after the kayak smashes through the window and it crashes, Clear's like, I should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
How?
Give yourself a break, Claire.
Yeah, this one's not your fault.
Yeah.
But Eugene says that if Death is out to get her, she should get the hell away from them.
Yeah, like we really should have done this over Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. Kimberly says that Clear is the only one who's dealt with all this before. Clear says they need to look out for each other and sleep in shifts, as well as safe-proof this death trap that is Burke's apartment.
Burke's like, this death trap is my home.
God damn it. We cut to the side of the road where Deputy Steve Adams, played by Aaron Douglas, has located the van, approaching it and telling Isabella to step out because it's been reported stolen. Back at Burke's apartment, the crew is making everything safer, but Kat, annoyed at her own failing with a bit of duct tape, wants to go take a smoke break. Burke tells her that it isn't wise, but she jokes that Nora has to bite it before her anyhow, so I mean...
Yikes.
That's fucked up.
It is. She's like, no one's got a sense of humor. I was like, well, that joke...
It really wasn't funny,
No.
but okay.
Nora's been through a lot.
Yeah. No shit.
And today, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit,
It's like,
yeah.
come on. This is all moving very quickly.
That is true. This is over the span of like 2 days, I think. But Nora grabs her purse and tells Kimberly that 4 years ago, she lost her husband. Now that Tim is dead too, there's nothing left for her. She says if it's her time to go, she can accept that. But Kimberly tells her that they can fight this and says that if they wait long enough for Isabella to have her baby, but Nora interrupts her, walking past her saying that she has a funeral to plan. Eugene snags his jacket, saying that he controls his life, not Death's list. Clear says that she'll be sure to carve that into his tombstone. Burke tells him to be careful and asks him to give Nora her burner phone that she left behind. Rory goes to put something in the closet, but realizes it's full of all kinds of sharp objects. He hangs it quickly, causing everything to fall down on him.
Why did he do it like that?
Well, what other way could you? I mean,
Just set it down on the floor and close the door.
so you got this, Berg. This is your place, right?
This is fucking crazy.
But he falls to the floor screaming, and the only thing that actually gets wounded is his pride. But Eugene and Nora get onto the elevator with Man with Hooks, played by John R. Taylor. Living up to his name, he is holding a crate of prosthetics, some with hooks. But back in the apartment, the light in the closet catches a trophy with a bunch of hangers, casting a shadow on the floor that Rory notices. It's a sign, a man with hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought someone was going to get killed by Doc Ock.
Like Spider-Man 2's coming out soon.
I told
That's the whole thing. I thought this looked really cool.
It did.
It does look very cool.
They said that it took forever to get it right because
Right.
it's practical.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a good job.
They did. It looks really cool, but I feel it's a little misleading.
Well, I mean,
I liked that it didn't look like exactly what was happening because we just fucking saw
Okay,
that.
yeah,
But
all
my
right,
thing
all
is,
right.
they're like, what is that? Like a man with hooks?
and then we credit the guy as Man with hooks. Could have been Slender Man. I don't know. It kind of
Yeah.
looked like him a little bit. But he tells the others what he sees, and they rush to their phones to warn Eugene and Nora. Clea rushes to the elevator, hitting the call button, but giving up and taking the stairs. On the elevator, Man with Hooks leans in to smell Nora's hair loudly.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Like just outright with his being a creep.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting. I was like, Death can move over because I'm afraid of this dude.
Yeah, well, he was creepy from jump.
Right.
Yeah.
He honestly, I had to look it up on IMDb because I thought he was the mortician who did up Frank on Sunny. I was like, is this
Is
the same
he?
guy?
Yeah.
No, he's not. There's just two dudes that are really good at playing creepy. But Eugene clears his throat, which gets the dude to back off.
I know they don't really know each other, but I feel like a little more than that.
Yeah, she deserved more than that.
Yeah, would have been in order. You know, she just lost her son.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave her the
she's
fuck
a mom.
alone.
She's, you know what I mean. She's in the same boat as you. Even if you don't believe it, you are both being told this shit.
Uh-huh.
I feel like there should be some kind of bond there.
Absolutely. And tensions are already running high.
Yeah.
I'd be like, back the fuck up.
Oh
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Like, it would not have just been like, sir.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like maybe he was just leaning over to tie his shoe or something.
No,
like, you were
yeah.
clearly fucking leaning over to sniff this lady's
Oh,
hair.
absolutely.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Well, maybe that was the bit of Woody Allen that was left over. Like, sir, I believe you're smelling her hair. But Nora's phone rings and she drops it, crouching down to answer it. It's Burke, and he tells her that a man with hooks is going to kill her. She drops the phone again, standing up, but her ponytail gets caught in one of the hooks. Eugene tries to help her, but she is flailing wildly and freaking out.
All of this would have been so much easier if Great Value Peter Boyle hadn't been so goddamn creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
The thing catches her hair, it could be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, let me help. Or, no, you had to be fucking like a pervert on top of it.
If he would have just been transporting those prosthetics
Yes.
Yeah.
that he made or whatever.
Yeah.
The hooks are not inherently,
No.
evidence of you being a fucking creep.
But
Right.
you're smelling this lady's hair.
Now
That-
you're a fucking
yeah.
creep.
And I get it, but I mean, if she would have just calmed down a little bit, one dude was like, "Hey, hold on."
Yeah, but in all fairness, it really sucks because she just heard a man with hooks is
Yeah.
gonna kill you, and so she's on edge. And then
Well, why'd she throw her phone down again?
I that's a great question too. But the elevator door opens and she stumbles out. The doors slam shut on her head, and we watch as the elevator rises to the next floor, bringing Nora with it. So that's the setup
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Rory and his shit shoe.
Yeah, we knew that was going to come back into play
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
sure.
And again, like I said at the intro, the mundane shit.
Yeah.
Dentist office, elevator,
Yeah.
traffic.
Yeah.
Shit that you
Can't
go
avoid.
through every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you could take the stairs, but
Yeah.
Who wants to take stairs,
dude,
right?
I'm lazy as hell. But Kat returns from her smoke break and meets Clear at the elevator where Nora is kicking and screaming. I'm laughing because I literally take the escalator instead of stairs or
Yeah.
anything. I really, I got to be more active, man. But they rush to help her, but the elevator continues rising despite the resistance, blood pouring out of Nora's mouth. She says that she doesn't want to die, but we watch as she is decapitated, Clear and Kat falling back with her headless body, and the man with hooks screaming madly as Eugene cowers in the corner at the sight of Nora's severed head.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it happens very fast.
Oh,
It
yeah.
does. And again, I feel like this is a very effective sequence.
The kill looks really good. I do
does.
like that.
It's also really sad because like she had said that she was ready to die.
Right.
And then at the moment she's like, I don't want to. Like
Yeah.
it's sad. For a movie that does not do great
Right.
fleshing out these characters, it was a sad moment.
I agree, and I feel like it was more human than a lot of the stuff we've seen in this film.
I would say any of the stuff we've seen.
That is one thing that the first film did really well was they tackled grief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Like very, very
it's
well.
like, okay, fucking move on. We
Yeah.
gotta like it doesn't I think maybe that's what I'm missing because I feel like the first movie did do a good job of
Right,
that.
right.
But back in the apartment, Burke gets a call telling him that Isabella is being held at the Greenwood Lake Sheriff's Station. Eugene busts in, feverishly telling the group that he controls his life. He snatches Burke's gun and tells everyone to back up.
It tripped me out because when Clear left the room, they were freaking out, trying to warn Nora because they just saw not a premonition, but a sign
Right.
of something that was going to happen to her. So that is where it was left.
Yes.
Cut to Eugene coming in with blood on him, traumatized and screaming. And they're like, whoa, man, what's going on?
Calm down, man.
Like, you knew the stakes, you knew the situation, and now he's back. I'd be like, oh my God, Nora's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're just like, whoa, what the fuck? Calm down.
Yeah, they're like, what happened?
This made no sense to me.
But he refuses to give Burke his gun back, putting it to his head instead. He says he's going to go out on his terms and pulls the trigger. But it clicks. He pulls it 5 more times and they all click. He falls to the floor and Kimberly looks disappointed at Burke. She's like, you don't keep it loaded?
Yeah.
I was like,
Just like fucking pussy.
don't you realize that weird things are afoot? Like, Jesus Christ. But he opens the chamber and we see that it is loaded, but it was loaded with 6 duds.
The implication here that as long as the person before you doesn't die, you can live forever.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Like, that's petty as fuck. I'm like, nah, it's not your turn.
Yeah.
So does nobody in the world die?
Yeah.
And so then it
so
doesn't
what
make any
happens there?
sense, really.
How many lists does he have? I think that's where I'm confused. He's busy as hell. Fucking spreadsheets or what?
How does he do it?
But Clear and Kat walk in, also covered in blood. Clear says that it wasn't Eugene's turn to die, which is why the gun didn't work. Kat, shaken, asks if they could please find the pregnant woman now, please. That delivery made me laugh very hard. But in the next scene, the group is on the road together in Kat's vehicle. Rory finds it unsafe for all of them to be in the same vehicle, which kind of.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't disagree. But Burke says not to panic because Isabella is safe. She can't drive into a lake if she's in protective custody.
So again, the implication, you can only die the new way that death has determined that you're going to die because something could still happen to her at the police station.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, no, there's no lakes. It's like, I don't know.
He changes shit.
Yeah, death did not like give y'all a list of rules. Like, I don't know why they're so.
You know what I would say is like, hey, remember when you were all supposed to die in a car crash?
Yes. No, exactly.
Shit changes.
Yeah.
But in her holding cell, Isabella tries to level with Deputy Adams. She's not really in the condition to commit Grand Theft Auto. Adams tells her that they should have it all sorted out by Monday morning, and Isabella is pissed. She says that when she gets out of here, she's going to sue her husband, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't either. But what kind of shit is her? She's like, Marcus?
Yeah.
What kind of shit is Marcus up to that she's like, oh, yeah, no, he stole this van?
Yeah, that's the first thing.
If somebody told me that, I wouldn't be like, John Paul did it. I'd be like, there's a mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some kind of error. And,
I know. Fuck.
But just then, Isabella's water breaks. Adam says that she can't do this to him, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is.
She says that she's not going to have her baby in a jail cell, so he frantically calls into Sheriff Perry for a vehicle, and when he doesn't answer, Isabella says that they can just take her van.
So he was like, I need the car. This police station only has one car?
Yeah.
I mean,
How did you get to work, man?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you
shit.
could. Well, he's like,
Yeah.
I don't want that happening in my car. I mean, get it detailed.
Yeah.
But he agrees to take her van, and they're off.
My only problem with this is like, aren't you supposed to take stress tests and you're supposed to pass all this to become like police officers and
I think you're supposed to.
I mean,
Hey, well, let's not get into training.
well,
And-
I don't mean like that. I mean like this woman is having a child.
Uh-huh.
You immediately turn into an 8-year-old and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. You're a police officer. Okay, let's get you out of there. I don't care whose car we take. Let's get you to a hospital.
Ideally.
Yeah.
One would hope. I don't think Deputy Adams is fit for service. No. Let's just
I
put
was
it
just
that
like,
way.
what are you doing?
This is an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, we're going to need internal investigations in on this one. But back in Kat's SUV, Eugene tells the group that this isn't the first time he cheated death. A kid came to school with a knife and killed his teacher, and it would have been him, but he was transferred to another school a couple days before. Burke immediately goes to one-up him, saying that he got a call last year about a train wreck, and his partner let him handle it alone. His partner died that night in a shootout. Kat then remembers last May when she was supposed to go to a bed and breakfast but didn't, and there was a gas leak that killed every guest. But the reason she didn't make it is because she was on a bus that ran over some girl.
I was annoyed at how casual she was about it and
Yeah.
how it was like splattered some girl all over the road so I couldn't go to my bed and breakfast. Like, bitch, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Well, she heard they had the best bacon and shit.
Bacon.
I don't know.
You were on a bus that murdered someone. I feel like I would not be that casual about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But this is when Clear pipes up, asking if that happened in Mount Abraham, and as it turns out, the bus she was on killed Terry Chaney in the first film.
Oh no.
She's like, the girl was arguing with some guy named Carter or something.
I don't know. We could oddly hear a lot from the bus. I don't know how.
The acoustics were great.
But Rory then asks if they remember the theater in Paris that collapsed last year and killed everyone inside. He had tickets, but while he was in Paris, he was just walking around, tripping on acid, and just so happened to see Carter get killed by the falling sign.
Of course you did.
Yeah, he said he was tripping on acid and went to go get a latte. Okay.
Great pairing.
Wouldn't you have had Kat be the one in Paris?
I would think so, because she's very successful.
I don't think Rory is going to a theater in
Oh yeah.
Paris. I don't see that happening.
So I was going to see Moulin Rouge. I was like, what? No, you
And
weren't.
if you're high, how do you remember any of that?
I don't know.
It doesn't.
I would think, I imagine he's on acid. Man.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Acid sometimes alters.
Yeah, right.
It just felt like they were going down the line and pairing people up, and then
Yeah.
Rory was left, and oh shit, but that happened in Paris. Oh, he was going to the theater. It's like, no, he was not.
Maybe he's more successful than he's letting on. Man.
Well,
He does have a lot of cocaine. I heard 80s,
there you go.
80s businessmen, they also used. You know Patrick Bateman. But this is when Eugene realizes that the teacher he replaced was Val Luton, the teacher who got off the plane in the first film. Burke then says that the call about the train wreck was the night. See, you said Kat was insensitive. We're talking Clear is in the car. She's already said they were her friends, but Burke says this is the night that he, quote, scraped up Billy Hitchcock.
I feel like you could have used a better, expression.
Anything. And also, this kind of bothered me a little bit because didn't he say earlier to Kimberly that he had to clean up a Flight 180 victim? And now he's just like, oh, fuck, yeah, there was that time that it was already in your brain.
Knew. Yeah, you already knew.
He's the only one. He should have honestly been the last one to tell a story because he could say, guys, that was Billy Hitchcock. You know, someone who also died.
The fact... all these connections, I found them very cool.
Yes.
The way that they are verbalizing and all figuring it out was not very cool.
I was going to say, I did not enjoy this.
I was like, this is too much. You know what? Now that I fucking think about it, dude, it's like, no, that doesn't stop.
I love the connection to the first film.
Yes.
I will say that I agree it is a little clunky.
It's bad.
But,
Dare I say it's bad.
For me, it's worth it to be like, oh man, I remember Billy Hitchcock. You know? So, I mean, I don't know. But it makes me laugh because Rory's like, who are these people?
Yeah.
Kimberly tells him it's the people that got off of Flight 180. Clear says they were her friends. Again, we're not going to get into how they were. We're not her friends.
No, we weren't.
But she asks for Kimberly's story. Kimberly says a year ago she was at the mall with her mom. She was supposed to meet her outside, but got caught up watching a news report about Todd Wagner's suicide. But this is when she heard gunshots and ran outside to find her mother dead after some kids tried to steal her car. She says at the funeral, she thought that it should have been her, and now she realizes that she was right.
And
What?
they're like, yeah, no, it was supposed to be.
Well, I mean, according to Death's List, it was supposed to be her.
I guess, but wouldn't it have been both of them? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I was kind of waiting on some payoff for Kimberly's mother, and this is not what I was expecting.
No, not as much.
And the connection is she was watching it on TV.
Yeah.
A lot of people were watching it on TV. I don't know.
She was like, I was also tripping on acid. I took a picture before the coroner arrived.
The fact that like a great shot, honestly.
Great shot. I was so proud.
I don't know. Her story was a little lackluster for me because we saved it till last, and it's like, what about you, Kimberly?
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I was watching it on TV.
Look, there were better stories. I'll give you that. But we then get a close-up shot of Clear holding Kimberly's arm. It's meant to be sincere, but it is shot so dramatically.
Yeah.
But I really do love this wrinkle that they're adding.
I do too. I feel like that's why I'm so offended that it was executed, in my opinion, pretty poorly. Just in this weird like dump of conversation in this car. I don't know.
I can't disagree with that.
Because it is very fucking cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But the way that they did it is just, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
But elsewhere, Adams is driving the van with Isabella begging him to drive faster. Back in the SUV, Clear says that when they got off of Flight 180, it caused a rift in Death's design. Eugene realizes that if the Flight 180 survivors didn't get off the plane, then they would all have been dead before the pileup even happened. Clear says this is why Death is working backwards. It's tying up all the loose ends and sealing up the rift once and for all.
Again, I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why Death was petty enough to wait a year.
Well, anniversaries.
Yeah.
Irony. Like, he's a petty motherfucker. I gotta hand it to Death. But we get shots of the SUV and the van speeding down the road, and we see that they're on the same road headed in opposite directions. The SUV has a tire blowout and heads right for the van. Adams and Kat swerve to miss each other, Adams heading off-road, but Kat crashes onto a farm, smacking through a stack of hay. A piece of wood gets lodged through her door and over her legs, and she eventually spins out, crashing into a pile of PVC pipes that smash through the back window and through Kat's headrest, narrowly missing her head.
It's an intense moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. Thankfully, everyone is fine, but unfortunately, Eugene has a wound to his chest and he clearly is having trouble breathing. Adams stops the van to help them, but Isabella isn't about it, screaming at him to get her to the hospital. He instead calls it in and they speed off as they see another vehicle stopping to render aid. The crew gets Eugene out of the car, resting him on the ground while Kat remains trapped in the driver's seat. Kimberly, who I don't know what her major is, says that she thinks Eugene's lung is collapsed. Kat asks Brian Gibbons, a farm boy played by Noel Fisher, for help. He heads over there in his finest Limp Bizkit t-shirt. It's 2003. But she freaks out, begging him to get her out before her SUV explodes.
He's Mickey Milkovich from Shameless.
Oh, really?
But like super young. I did a double take, but it's definitely him.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I've never seen Shameless.
I didn't finish it because it went off the rails for me, but I liked it for a while.
Like Dexter off the rails, or?
Not quite, but maybe I'll give it another shot because I did go back and suffer through all of Dexter.
I don't envy you.
Yeah, I don't envy me either.
But Brian says that he doesn't smell any gas and nothing is dripping, so she asks him to remove the piece of wood that's trapping her. He tries, but it hurts her, so he calls out to his father. Paramedics arrive and load Eugene into the ambulance, with Clear giving tons of warnings about what they need to look out for, up to and including puddles, potholes, and power lines. They kind of brush her off. They're like, "Dude, what the-"
They don't brush her off. They literally push her out of the ambulance. I was like, who's to say she's not his wife?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's right.
No, yeah.
That's
He's like, get
fucking
the fuck
bullshit.
outta here.
They're like, you can't ride with him. Why
Yeah.
not? Why can't she ride with him?
I've ridden to the hospital with a friend
Yeah.
twice. But I'm like, I just thought that was crazy.
I think the paramedics were like, dude, Burke and Kimberly need you for the third act.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, right? You're in this next scene. Go back.
Yeah, you can't go with us. But a news van arrives on the scene, and Brian is barely in the way of it, but Rory tackles him to the ground, quote, saving his life, unquote. He seemed very far away to me.
Yeah.
it was far.
But the news van backs up over a pile of sharp rocks, rupturing the gas tank, which sends gasoline traveling through a pipe underground.
I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Some Happy Gilmore shit. I was
Hey,
like, this
God
is-
damn.
For me, this is starting some Rube Goldberg.
It is.
They're like, watch where the gas
It
travels.
just feels like there's so much going on that it's like, drive safe, man.
Yeah.
Be careful.
But Rory asks Kimberly if it's going to hurt when he dies, but she doesn't know. Since she's going to die after him, he gives her his keys and wallet and asks if she'll throw out all his drugs and porn and whatnot, anything that would break his mom's heart.
I appreciated them finally giving him a human moment
Yes.
where he's not snorting coke or being
Right.
like, dog shit on you. Shut up, bitch. Like, I appreciated that.
Right.
But that's all he gets.
It is.
Nobody cares,
Just
man.
the
Shut
one.
up.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck
I
up.
appreciated it.
I thought it was nice to show him having something else.
Well,
Yeah.
you could have done that earlier.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
You
yeah,
know,
you could've.
It is sad because it comes so late that I know Rory is supposed to be the comic relief or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit about him
No.
by this point. So him saying that, I was like, okay, you are a human. Like, okay,
Yeah,
I see.
I remember when I was a kid watching it, I was like, this dude is on one.
Oh yeah. When you're 13,
Yeah, I was like, I fucking love this guy.
hilarious.
I hope he lives. I hope he lives.
Final boy material right here.
Hashtag final boy. But he thanks her and walks away. Burke calls in trying to get an update on Isabella and finds out that she's at Lakeview Hospital being prepped for a delivery. Now, when they say Lakeview Hospital, they mean it because we'll see later.
Yes. Yes.
But he tells Kimberly and Clear goes over to tell Kat. Kat says that she'll be fine and to just go find Isabella and end this thing. But we watch as gasoline continues traveling down the pipe. A firefighter uses the jaws of life on Kat's door, and she lights a cigarette, complaining about the noise. As the firefighter slams the machine into the door again, it sets off the airbag, slamming Kat's head into her seat, the PVC pipe impaling her through the brain.
Very sudden.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought this was really cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Because like she's even being funny for a second and then it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really, and the thing is they use their effects very well.
Oh, no,
And
this
it-
looks cool.
It was foreshadowed too because we saw that go through and it almost get her when it
Yeah.
happened.
I mean, and when I said that I was scarred by a few deaths when I was a kid, there was obviously the log truck.
Yes.
And this one.
Yeah.
Because anytime I see a PVC pipe, that's all I think of.
You're like, absolutely
yeah.
not.
I was like, "You killed Kat, you bastard!" And everyone, and then at Lowe's, they asked me to leave.
Well, I mean, she told that kid earlier who was trying to help her, and she was like, easy, Jethro. It's
Yeah,
like,
she did.
dude.
No, she was rude.
And
Yeah.
then dude was trying to help her out, and
Uh-huh.
she's like, that's fucking loud. He's like, I'll put it on quiet mode.
And she
Yeah.
thanked him.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, thanks.
She's like, "I know nothing about the jaws of life."
If you could have done that, why didn't you do that to begin with?
Yeah,
No.
you're just being an asshole. But Kimberly watches in horror and Clear turns away. Kat drops her cigarette out the window where the wind carries it to the pipe. It sets the gasoline on fire and the flame travels back toward the news van. While this is happening, Burke narrowly escapes being crushed by a falling branch. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit.
I guess we were
It's like
supposed to forget who was next.
Yeah.
I guess, but we just saw a much cooler death happen.
Or
Yeah.
fuck. No, I think that might have been part of it. Maybe Burke was next and that was him missing it, and then we get what we get next.
All right.
That's actually pretty fucking. I don't like it. I mean, I like it. I like it, but I don't like it.
I'm trying to remember. Didn't Burke die first?
Doesn't matter.
No, the log went through the police car.
Uh-huh.
He died first, so he would be last.
Yeah, but geez, what are you, deaf? Got a fucking notebook right
I
there.
am also petty and I keep lists.
So maybe. But the news van explodes, sending a barbed wire fence through the air, slicing through Rory, whose body parts fall into pieces, his guts spilling out as his legs topple over. This looks great.
Yeah, he got
cool.
a very cool death, at least.
I don't know if that really happened, but that looked really
I'm
cool.
not sure either. Well,
In my mind, that's exactly what would happen.
I'd hope not.
I just laughed at the fence being sent like a projectile.
Yeah. And open.
Yes, of course. It was very cool on a behind-the-scenes thing.
Yeah.
They showed that this was accomplished with a green screen and puppetry.
Oh, wow.
Like his legs are a puppet and his middle torso is a puppet, and they have people on the sides controlling it. And he falls over and he's wearing like green pants.
Right.
And so I really think that this film needs to be commended for the practical.
No, yeah.
That is very fucking cool.
Like the combination, I guess, of practical and CG.
Yeah, because this does look really cool.
It
It
does.
looks really good. But Kimberly, Clear, and Burke head out in a truck belonging to Mr. Gibbons, played by Alf Humphreys. Kimberly, who is driving, immediately begins to choke, having visions of a person in a hospital named Kalargian seemingly strangling her. Why are you driving?
No, I have a few notes here. She should not be driving.
No.
She's just warging out in the driver's seat. Well, they're like, fuck.
Yeah, they're like, this is just a bad idea, dude.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like nobody reacted to Rory's death.
No.
Not really.
And they were like, we gotta go. And the guy's like, take my truck. I'm like, you don't even know
Who
that.
are you? And where do you have to go to? Well, I bet Kimberly's like, God damn, I gotta go hide his porn and shit. Like,
Yeah.
You committed to it.
Yeah, she did. But she tells the group that she thinks that a nurse named Kalargian is going to try and kill Isabella. Not sure why she said nurse, because she was literally dressed as a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexist.
Right?
Kimberly, gross.
God damn, grow up.
It's 2003, man.
Yeah, get with the times. But at the hospital, Isabella is going into labor. Eugene is in another hospital room where he learns of Kat's and Rory's deaths on the news. Just then, a wind blows the door shut and machinery in his room begins to fuck up. But the crew arrives at the hospital, rushing inside and looking for Isabella's room. An obstetrician played by Claudine Rodney says Isabella might need a C-section and pages Dr. Kalargian. Burke and Kimberly hear the page and rush down the hall as Clear goes off to find Eugene. In his room, we see Death is working overtime, blocking the door with a cart and unplugging his ventilator.
I guess working overtime is one way to look at it. I look at it as lazy as shit.
Yeah.
Really?
This is not the type of shit I signed up for Final Destination 2.
Well, I will say that I think Death is like, you survived that?
Yeah.
And he's like, kind of, when she says tying up the loose ends, he's like, I gotta get to the hospital.
He's just like just moving machines and unplugging shit. It's like I thought this was lame.
At this point, you're just a ghost.
Well,
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't.
And also, why are none of Eugene's alarms going off?
Yeah.
Nobody's looking after him.
well, Death's involved. But Kimberly and Burke just missed the elevator that Dr. Kalargian, played by Enid Ray Adams, gets onto, so they just take the stairs. I don't know why they didn't press the button and just...
No time.
Dr. Kalargian. But we also see that there are complications in the delivery room as the obstetrician impatiently wonders where Dr. Kalargian is. Burke and Kimberly catch up with her in the hall, detaining her in the name of police business.
In the name of police brutality.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah,
Nah, it's
seriously.
like, what the fuck is going
He
on
fucking
here?
slammed her against the wall.
Yeah.
No cause.
She's trying to do her job.
Yeah. But Kimberly busts in the delivery room just in time to see the baby boy being born. She jumps into Burke's arms, and we see the emergency battery kick in Eugene's room, returning oxygen to his system.
First of all, you can't just bust in there.
No.
Yeah.
And secondly, I loved how the machine started working again. Like Death was like,
Yeah.
you almost die, you guys.
I'll get you next time.
Yeah.
Everyone has to die. You guys forget that. It just doesn't have to be elaborate and interesting. Like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But Kimberly thanks Isabella and tells her congratulations. And Isabella asks Adams, who the hell are those guys?
And who the hell are they?
Yeah, I have no idea. But Clear meets up with Kimberly and Burke in the hall, and they tell her the good news. Everything is okay. It's over. But then Kimberly has another vision.
Yeah.
It's of the original events of the incident, only this time she sees Isabella speeding her van past the wreckage, getting out, and surveying it from the side of the road.
She's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Isabella was never supposed to die in the pileup. She then has another vision of someone with bloody hands crashing the van into the lake, and Kalarjian in the hospital looking somewhat aggressive, but clearly saving someone's life.
Yes.
Like they make it like she's fucking someone up.
Yes.
Plus, why would that be your first thought?
I don't know.
That a
killing
doctor or nurse is trying, yeah.
And like on her shift in front of everyone.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like there's people in the room, but she's clearly strangling somebody. It's
No,
like,
she's
what?
murdering me. Like that's real. It couldn't be CPR or anything.
No, not at all.
But I will say that this made me laugh a little bit because Alex's visions were very clear.
Yeah.
Kimberly, I don't know what.
Yeah.
We'll continue because there's more that I
Okay.
have issues with.
Clear heads out to find Eugene again.
Because, okay, I'm sorry. Let me stop you right there.
It's like you told me to continue.
Because to continue only for that one sentence. Because Kimberly is like, oh, it's like I saw it again or whatever, and Claire's like, Eugene, why wasn't Kimberly like, no, ma'am, these were white tans?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this has
No,
nothing to do with
yeah.
Eugene.
I didn't use. Yeah, Eugene's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know
was
why
like,
she didn't
well,
say anything.
She's just like, oh yeah, no, go check him. Like,
Yeah.
you have, and then it gets worse. I'll
Yeah,
let
that's
you continue.
true.
Yes.
Clear finally finds Eugene's room and opens the door. But the room, now filled with oxygen, gives life to a spark from the outlet, causing the room to explode. In not so great CGI, we see fire engulf and burn Clear's face, the explosion sending her flying into the hallway and obviously killing Eugene.
Why did they do Claire like that?
I don't know.
I'm sad for Eugene too, but why did you bring her back just to do this?
I don't know.
So that when Tony Todd told her she had a fire inside of her, that it could pay off?
I thought she just liked AFI. She's like, I was listening to Girls Not Great on the way here.
That's so funny.
It's just the whole setup. You really set a booby trap for this lady to come over here.
Death is
He likes booby traps.
Yeah.
Come on.
he likes irony. He likes pranks.
And he likes wind.
And he likes
He loves wind.
and he loves to fart.
Loves it. Yeah.
But Burke and Kimberly back away, Kimberly looking at her hands, which are now all sliced up. She realizes she's the person in her premonitions.
Bitch, you don't recognize your own hands?
No.
It was frantic, man.
No.
Oh my, she deserves to be fucked up for this.
No, I'd
Yeah.
be very mad.
This is fucking out of pocket. This is insane.
Burke should be like, you killed Clear.
Yeah.
But instead, he's just like, what else did you see? It's like, dude, these are unreliable as fuck. I wouldn't pay attention to
I'm not
any of this
listening
shit.
to you anymore.
You know, the funny thing I just realized is there's literally a phrase for that. The back of your hand?
She has no excuse.
None. But an ambulance pulls up, which we take to mean is the white van.
Yeah.
It's funny because now all the pieces are falling into place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
White van.
Yeah.
It's like, Kimberly, shut the fuck up.
Kalarjian rushes to the scene with an ECG machine, just like in her vision, and she sees an article on the bulletin board, New Life for Drowning Victim. She realizes what she has to do to stop this. She has to die. She very awkwardly kisses Burke on the cheek and tells him to get Kalarjian before straight up stealing that ambulance and driving off. Burke rushes out to stop her, but the door is malfunctioning and shooting sparks, so he can't get out in time.
I laughed because Death was like, like,
Yeah.
lock the doors behind her.
It's like, no, let's see how this plays out. But he eventually gets out, rushing after the ambulance as Kimberly speeds it off a dock and into a nearby lake. Again, this is Lakeview Hospital.
Yes.
She drove for, I think, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But Burke dives into the water after her as water fills the sinking van. He reaches the van underwater, trying to break in as he watches life slip away from Kimberly. She envisions all the people we've seen throughout the film, hearing various quotes from Bloodworth, Nora, sounds of news reports, etc. Her own voice then says that she knows what she has to do to save them. She has to die. It fades to black.
I was like, we get it. You said that 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is I thought her life was flashing before her eyes, but it was really only the time that we've known her.
Yeah.
But we fade back in blurry as Kalarjian uses the defibrillator, bringing Kimberly back to life. Burke, who saved her from the van, welcomes her back to the world of the living. He tells her they did it. Thanks to her, they cheated death.
Well, don't say that out
Yeah.
loud.
It's like, we beat that motherfucker. It's like, dude, he can hear you. But the colors become more vibrant as the sun rises outside the hospital. We transition to a cookout with Kimberly, her father, Burke, and the Gibbons family. They thank Mrs. Gibbons, played by Shilton Crane, for inviting them. Brian mans the grill, or I guess boys the grill, I guess, as they check in on Kimberly, who says that she's doing better and even had a fun summer.
Why are we friends?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're all friends.
Well, they all went through some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Some of them more than others.
And if you're the Gibbons, like 2 people died on their property, which is kind of a big deal. And they were their friends. Maybe they're like, you guys want to talk about Rory and Kat or anything?
Right. Sorry, your friends died on my land. You want some brisket?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Say,
I would
do.
love some brisket.
But Burke nearly impales himself trying to eat a skewer, and they tell him to be careful. He's like, I've been through closer calls.
Yeah.
Oh,
God damn it, Burke. And it freeze frames and we get the... No.
Yeah.
But Brian says that he has 2, and he asks his dad to tell the group what happened with him in the news van. Mr. Gibbons tells them about how Rory saved his life. Kimberly and Burke look at each other as Mrs. Gibbons says that was lucky. Just then, the grill explodes, killing Brian and sending his charred arm landing right in front of his mother, who screams.
He didn't have to serve the arm to his mom. That's fucked up.
And it was smoking and
Yeah.
probably pretty crisp.
Shut up. I knew you were...
Think about it. Never had an arm, man? I will say that the comical ending was a lot, but I did like that they literally, like, that was not CG. They practically exploded a dummy.
Oh, I thought you could say a boy.
Yeah, they killed Brian.
Yeah.
No. But I have to ask, what did you guys think of Final Destination 2?
I do like the kills in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the story is strong enough to like overshadow, you know what I mean? Or like if the kills are strong enough to overshadow the story and all the silly shit that goes on.
Right.
I mean, I will say that the kills, the effects, it looks great.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot that just doesn't, like, I was just like, oh my God, again? I was like, what the fuck?
I agree that I have a weird nostalgia for this movie, for both of them. So I think I'm being a little more flexible, but there's just a lot that did not work for me as an adult watching this. But like you said, T, when you're a kid, it's just like, this is the greatest shit I've ever seen. But it has so many memorable moments and so many creative kills that I think you have to give it its props.
Right.
But yeah, narratively and character-wise and logically, there's a lot of shit that just flat out does not make sense.
Yeah.
All of those things are true. I do think that at the end of the day, though, it is a fun film.
It definitely is. Yeah.
And it's a blast to watch if you just, again, kind of turn your brain off kind of a film.
Right.
As an adult, because as a kid, I loved this shit.
Same. Yeah.
Like, I would watch the first 2 over and over and have a blast doing it.
Yeah.
Not even having a care in the world. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Are you crying?
That doesn't matter. Get past it. But I do think that it does its best to respect what came before.
Yeah.
Even if it kind of falls on a few of those times.
Most notably, not bringing Alex back.
Yeah, that really, well, at least he's not a fucking daredevil.
Okay. I'll give it that.
Evil Knievel. Like, could you imagine that sequel?
Right.
But I think that while it's not perfect, it is worth a watch, I would say.
For sure.
But I guess that can lead us into ratings.
Okay.
I think that the strongest thing that this film has going for it is the marriage of practical and CG effects. Like, they work surprisingly well. Also have to call out the stunt work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That car accident scene is really good.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It is.
The way that it holds up, too.
Yeah.
Still.
Because I feel like if you put that next to another 2003 film, it's...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine orchestrating all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Like, it's unbelievable. I think they said it took 11 days to shoot. I don't know if I said that
Yeah,
earlier.
you did.
Damn.
But that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate the callbacks to the original story, even if some are a bit unsuccessful.
Right.
There, you can tell that even though it's not the director and the writer from the first film, they want to respect it.
Yeah.
And that's admirable. But on the negative side, the handling of Alex Browning.
Okay.
It's upsetting.
For what they set up in the first film, thinking Final Destination 2,
Right.
I'm very excited to see what happens with Alex next.
Yeah.
Right.
And while we do have Clear, which I appreciate, at least they have that.
Yeah.
And of course, Tony Todd, which thank you.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course. Even, I mean, I know he wasn't even in the first one a lot, but I could have had more.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another issue is I think our protagonist is just okay.
I agree.
All right.
And I like AJ Cook.
Yeah, me too. And
But,
I just think that maybe it's just the way that she's written. I feel like once Clear comes on board, I'm like, what's that about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and when you bring Claire back, she's immediately talking shit to her. So
Yeah.
already I'm
Yeah, I was
like,
like,
oh,
fuck you.
you don't talk to Clear Rivers
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, no. And unfortunately, I think that the screenplay could have used some work. But for some reason, I still really come away from this film still enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch it again. I don't care. I don't know why somebody's like trying to stop me. I don't give a shit. I'm doing it. But I will say that for me, I really lowballed my score on the first Final Destination. For some reason, I gave it a 6. And now, in retrospect, I think I would more likely give Final Destination, the first one, a 7.
Yeah.
But for this film, out of 10 partially correct premonitions, I'm going to give Final Destination 2 a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
I was so close to that 6.5.
Yeah.
But I want Alex Browning, man.
Yeah, that hurts.
If you have everything here, but also have a scene of him trying to guide her through the premonitions,
Yeah.
this is a 6.5 film.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a 6, and it's a high 6 because I'm gonna watch this probably like this week again.
It's still fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I will open the floor to you.
I don't have the same feeling for these movies that y'all do. And you're right, it is a fun movie, and the kills are really good.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like I didn't care about any of these characters. Again, there was no backstory to any of them. Rory was a fucking just there to be there. The whole time, the only other person that talked a lot was Eugene, and he was just there to be like, I don't fucking believe you.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, what?
You had to have somebody not believe it.
But I don't know. I just didn't like a lot of the stuff. So the dentist thing didn't work for me either.
Okay.
Like I get it, but again, so you don't. Your front lady, what is it? The receptionist doesn't know how to grab this pigeon. You know what I mean? You don't. Not only that, you wouldn't be like, hey, let me take this gas off this dude's nose while I go tend to this.
Yeah, I don't understand why they just left him there.
Well, but we've already determined he's very unprofessional.
He's a horrible dentist.
Yes.
Same thing with, I mean, the fish, the water. I was like, come on, dude, for real? I'm like, you really want me to? The water's going, and then I think too when what really threw me was the van, the news van, when it hit the gas, and then I was like, please don't tell me this is what you're doing, because that's not how death worked in the first movie. I was like, this isn't what it, you know what I mean?
One thing I will say is that I've driven onto a curb before.
Right.
So I feel like if I drove so hard
But you knew that you did that,
it
right?
broke through my fucking, I would feel
You'd
that.
feel that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're like, quick, we need the shot.
Yeah, right. Fuck the van. Just come on.
Yeah,
I was like,
we'll get a new van.
What?
It's a lot.
And then Eugene in there, and then the booby trap set and everything. You know what I mean? It kind of took me out of the whole accidental death, but it wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the first movie did.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, oh man. But I will agree with that. If you've never seen the movie, watch the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say that I'll watch it again unless your sister wants to watch it. But it's only because like I don't have that nostalgia factor for these movies.
For sure.
Not saying that they're trash or anything. I just didn't watch them like that. So for me, watching them on the show, and you know what I mean, I did enjoy it, but a lot of that stuff hurt it for me for what the first movie did good. You should have carried it over to this movie.
Understandable.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't have went, I get it, we got to ramp it up. It's like, not that way though. You know what I mean? Not like that. Yeah.
Can I ask, do both of you think that if the film had carried over the more serious tone from the first film, would it have been more successful?
For me, I think it would have. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I get the comedy aspect or whatever of it, but that's not how the first one was. And you're not doing the deaths the same way in the first one. Yeah, they're cool, but it isn't more of an accident. It's more of a, I'm just going to kill you.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I get it. You know, you got to kill them, but can you make this be an accident form? Does it have
Form?
to? You know what I mean?
You're like, hey, Death, you know, we have to watch this.
Yeah. It's like, I was like, really, dude? But I mean, I would recommend anyone to watch this. This is a fun movie, like you said, and the deaths are really, really cool.
Yeah.
If you can get past all that, this is a fun movie, and I would watch it. But for me, on a scale from 1 to 10, partially correct premonitions, I'm gonna give Final Destination 2 a 5.5. And the only thing that gave it that extra was the knowing the practical and special effects were together, because that all looks cool.
Yeah.
And for me, these points are, I'm not gonna lie to you, a majority for that.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm not trying to say the movie's trash, but to me it was just a little, I think it kind of went a little too away from the first one for me, as to where, again, the first one, I'm not saying that it was like a favorite movie of mine, but I feel like that one was done better.
I would agree.
And that's just kind of, you know what I mean, where I landed with this. But it is a good movie. Like you said, it's very fun. A definite must watch.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. It's a super fun, like you said, turn your brain off and just enjoy it. The kills are super interesting. That opening sequence is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like we said, the effects and the... boiling down to it, my issue is, like you said, the screenplay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of it that a lot of people's reactions to things don't make sense.
Yeah.
I feel like the timeline of this all taking place in like 2 days. When you find out how much time has passed, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense. I feel like the characters are not fleshed out. I know that's not really what you come into these movies for, but I just feel like I cared more about the group from the first one. Especially, I absolutely cared about Alex and Clear, and I didn't really care about Kimberly that much.
Yeah.
Not really.
And nothing wrong with, like I said, I like AJ Cook, but I just don't think they gave her a lot to work with.
Right.
I mean, I feel like I've kind of made my opinions clear throughout the stuff that just flat out didn't work for me, but a lot of it did. Like you said, I think I went low on my score for Final Destination because I gave it a 6.5. And I know I just changed my score last week, so I'm not changing it, but I really love Final Destination, and it should have been higher.
Yeah.
But since it is a 6.5 and Final Destination 2 is not as successful for me for a lot of those reasons. Plus, as you just brought up, the tonal shift in films. I'm not saying don't give me any silly, but like this is death. I mean, I feel like we need to. There's
we're
some
not having
seriousness.
Fun while we're dying.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this shit on my shit? This dude's hilarious.
But that does hurt it for me a little bit because it is a completely different vibe from the first one. And I really do love the first one. But this one is still fun. Both of them, I guess we watched them a lot when we were younger because they both kind of harken me back to watching these as a kid. And it's still fun for me. But with all that aside, I gave Final Destination, the first one, a 6.5.
Right.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, partially correct premonitions, I'll give Final Destination 2 a 6.
Okay.
It's still fun, but it is not as successful for me as Final Destination proper.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. One thing I will say is that as JP starts to taper off his enjoyment on these, there's like 3 more films, man.
Yeah. Man, this
Can't
is gonna be rough.
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate Final Destination 2, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Twitter at the Pod Mortem. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Twitter at TravisMWH, at Blood and Smoke, and at RealStreeter84. Please consider pledging to our Patreon and stay tuned until after the music for a special thank you to all of our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, always live life to the fullest. You never know what's waiting for you down the road. Until next time. Thank you all for staying tuned. We want to give a very special thank you to all of our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Hey.
Woo,
The
yeah.
gang's all here.
Uh-huh.
Woo. No, that's all
I don't know either. Special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Melanie Van Housden, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Guy54, Lala Thomas, Travis and Nisa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Mandy, Jennifer Perez, Pierre Lombard, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ Bronson, Gabrielle Trevino, Spooky Mom, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Antonio Huerta, Kimberly Kleindienst, Will Brown, Linda, Sydney Smith, Osvaldo Soto, Jonathan Booth, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhardt, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Barry, Brittany Ramatar, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Garrett Rogers, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Melissa Sierra, Holly Bryan, Alex Schultz, Jordan Blevins, Michelle Moore, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexius Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Amanda Aliff, Leisha Olivier, Kate Lamp, Carlos, and Jessica Hunter. Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
We can't tell you how much we all appreciate you. Honestly, when you come to think about it, we love all of you to death.
We put a lot of thought into that.
I did, yeah. Until next time.